Hello, folks, and hey, Bear, welcome to the Nateland podcast. Today's episode of the Nateland podcast is brought to you by Athletic Greens, also BetterHelp, Fabric Life Insurance, and Starbucks Ready to Drink. Welcome, everybody. I'm Nate Bargatze, soon Brian Bates, Aaron Weber, and filling in for the old Dusty Slay, the original Dusty Slay, Greg Warren. Greg Warren is back. Everybody loved you when you were on, so they wanted us to have you back.
It's a lot of pressure, man.
Here we are.
Yeah, it
is. Yeah. It was great the first time. So now we're going to let people really see.
You were on episodes 98, 99, and then we announced Dusty as our new host on the 100th episode.
Yeah,
I heard something about that.
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
I'm a Dusty fan. Yeah.
Well, he's not a fan of yours, so
Is that right?
no, he does not care for you. He's here in town. He just like
We told him. We told Dusty we put the offer out to Greg. We're waiting to hear what Greg says. The Greg.
You know what? I was trying to negotiate with Nate, and Dusty came in and undercut me.
Yeah.
And, trying to keep it cordial, but
yeah.
never overplay your hand.
He lives in a trailer park. It's hard not to undercut.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Greg wanted me to pay for unleaded. Dusty drives diesel, and I go, I gotta go diesel.
Yeah.
And that's what's sending over the edge. Welcome, everybody. Glad you are here. We're back in here because we're doing two today because I'm about to be going to Europe.
Yeah,
Wednesday.
Have you done comedy in Europe before?
I've been to Dublin comedy. They had a festival, Vodafone Comedy Festival. So I've done that, but it was like I didn't headline. It was like just a bunch of comics over there.
Okay.
So this is the first headlining.
First time where you're selling tickets over there.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
And so I've only done Dublin. I haven't done anywhere else. So we're going to London, and we're going London first. Harp and Laura going, and then it'll be London. We'll be in London for like 24 hours. Like it's like because I have a corporate show. It's like I have a corporate show Tuesday, tomorrow, and then leave Wednesday. There's nonstop to London out of Nashville.
Yeah,
Really?
I think it just started.
Just started.
Yeah, that's when
Frontier?
you're coming up as a city.
Yeah, Spirit.
What?
It's half Frontier.
I'm coming
half
up as a
Spirit.
city.
Yeah.
You, Spirit takes you part of the way out, and then y'all got to switch over to Frontier, and then Frontier carries the rest of the load. No, it's I think British Airways, American.
Okay.
And then so we leave at like 7 p.m. and get there like 8 in the morning, and then I have a show that night in London.
Wow.
And so I gotta hope I'm not gonna be all just messed up.
All right.
I mean, but I should be good. So we're London, and then we go to Dublin the next day. So it's gonna be we're not gonna really get to spend any time in London. We're gonna get in as much as we can get in, and then London, Dublin, then Oslo, and Amsterdam, Belgium.
Wow.
Yeah.
Are you worried at all? I was thinking about this. Do you go through your act in your head and think like what is not going to make sense here?
And let me say this:
Immediately
next
what I would
week's
do.
episode is about Europe, so this don't go too far in.
Oh,
You
that's
know
a good-
this, Aaron.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. So we're waiting. We'll talk about it.
All right.
Yeah.
Is Oslo
Cliffhanger.
Oslo is Scandinavia part of Europe?
Oslo's in Norway, and that's
Yeah.
part of Europe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Seemed like
Again,
it should
save
be.
it for next week, Greg. You're on this episode too.
You're on next week's episode too. Yeah, you just said it, Greg. This is why we didn't go with you.
I know.
And
Yeah, Dusty would have nailed this.
stuff
man.
like
Yeah,
stuff like this is
Dusty,
just,
man, that
you
guy
know,
knows that Scandinavia is
Yeah.
part of Europe. He's always known that.
knows
Yeah.
when to talk about it, when not to talk about
Yeah.
it. That's really the key.
Yeah, is know when to shut up.
Yeah.
Right.
Hey, you said when
Maybe don't wear a USA hat on the day of Europe. See, but you did right because today's not a Europe.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
man.
don't wear it
I-
next week.
I got European hat for this next one.
Yeah.
You said you were like worried that might be messed up for the London
Jet lag.
Yeah, are you? I worry about that a lot,
Uh-huh.
but then I realized I'm a little better sometimes when I'm messed up. Like I think
Yeah.
I'm funnier when I kept putting in wrestling terms because I was like, oh, I'm going to be tired. I'm not going to wrestle well, and I transferred that over to stand up, and then I realized when I'm tired, I'm pretty good.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't push as hard or whatever.
Yeah.
You don't push that
The
hard anyway.
throttle.
But maybe I'm just.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like it is. I think about that too with people being tired because before big games or something, or you like you got the Braves World Series well, those guys sleep great the night before. You like they can't all
No
just be
way.
like I got a perfect 8
Mhm.
out. Like I think they're all just a little like you're kind of gassed up and
Yeah.
it's hard to sleep.
And the adrenaline carries you through, I'm sure.
Yeah. And you get out there and you're kind of tired and you just have then you have like a crash after that.
When we shot the special, I couldn't sleep the night before.
Yeah.
And usually I'd panic, and I woke up and I was like, "Man, this is gonna be terrible." I was trying to do a crossword puzzle, and I'm good at crossword puzzles, and I couldn't do it. And I was like, "Well, I don't have it today.
Yeah.
This is gonna
That's
be
your
horrible."
test when you wake up. You do a crossword
I
puzzle.
did New York Times crossword puzzle. And I was like, I don't have it.
Mm.
I'm not gonna be on tonight. This whole thing is gonna fall apart. And then I was like, no, this has happened 10 times in the last 2 months, and you've been better when you didn't have it. And I didn't do caffeine for about 3 months before the special. And I was like, on the day of the special, I'm going all in. And I went to the Starbucks, and I got my buddy Tim, who opened for me at the special, was like, I go, hey man, I'm going to go grab this stuff. Will you get me a Emperor's Cloud tea? I go, which has 2 tea bags in it. And I was like, and get 2 extra tea bags. Because I was like, I'm going to bring them with me. And then before the second show, I'm going to go again. Okay.
Can you buy a loose tea bag? Like
they'll give you this. They're packaged.
Oh, okay.
Packaged. So I get there, and he gives me the thing. I go, hey, where's the other 2 tea bags? He goes, they're in there.
Oh,
it was 4 tea bags.
Oh.
I made a pitcher's worth of tea in 1 cup. And I hadn't had caffeine in 3 months.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't do drugs, but I understand the lure of the drug. I was in all the way.
It felt good.
Oh, it was great, man.
Yeah.
I'd tell you guys, if you're going to record something, get off of caffeine for a while and then do it.
Then
that
get
day.
back on it
Oh
super
man,
hard.
it is. It's amazing.
Yeah. They tell people that have drug problems.
Yeah.
They go, just get off of it a little bit and then come back hard.
It'll be even better.
It'll be
I don't
better.
think they tell them that, Nate.
Yeah. Do you think your generation is the last of the crosswords? Is it?
That's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that you're
I don't see where we're drastically in a different
Are
generation.
you have a physical newspaper?
Well, you and Brian. Yeah.
Do you have like a physical newspaper?
Like when
that
y'all
you
do fantasy football in your newspaper. So go ahead. Brian and Greg. Y'all.
I want to say something about this, and when we were choosing music for the special, I sent something, and Nate was like, "Hey, I got a better idea. I have a vision for it. I want this graphic." And my guy has this, I'm thinking sort of like a Dick Van Dyke TV thing. And I emailed back, I'm like, "This is great, but do you think that I'm the same age as Dick Van Dyke?" I do crosswords on the app, man.
Yeah.
On the app, okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's a pretty hip thing.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I read that like the new people.
Wordle?
No, not the.
What are you
I mean,
talking
not Gen X, but the next one.
Gen Z?
It's Gen Z.
Millennials.
Millennials.
Yeah.
The millennials are doing
Millennials
crossword.
are old too
they're doing
now.
Yeah, they
crossword
are.
puzzles on the to be hip. They're doing it with a
On
pencil.
an actual
Oh,
newspaper.
yeah. That's cool.
It's like a hip thing now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Millennials are old too now, though.
Really?
Yeah. Millennials are, 40. I mean, I'm on the cusp of it. I'm like my joke. I'm in the middle of it.
Okay.
Of Gen X and millennial. I'm directly in the middle. And so could technically, some places you could argue I am a millennial, or some say I'm a Gen X.
Okay.
But
which would put you in the same generation as me.
yeah, we're different. You're on the top floor.
Yeah.
And you're like, and I'm barely getting in the door.
I'm knocking on baby boomer.
We're just
you're
3
like,
Gen
"No."
X's around here.
Y'all are in it. Y'all know your way around the Gen X building. You're like, no, over here. You're like,
Nate, that's not how you do it.
yeah. What is this coffee? You just got a pot of coffee. Just always someone's got a full pot.
Yeah.
There's no just individual cups.
No.
It's a pot brewing.
We'll put a pot
Were you
on
one of the
for
last
yeah.
millennials?
I'm like I feel like my age is the quintessential millennial. When people make fun of millennials, they're typically talking about people my age.
You get it.
Yeah,
Like, you're
I
like,
get
yeah,
it
yeah.
exactly for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
30 to 32.
But Gen Z is 20s, right?
Yeah.
So you barely, if you were a little bit younger, you'd be a Gen Z, right?
Gen Z's after millennial.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if he's younger than that, he'd be less. I was like, if you're a little bit older, you'd be a boomer.
That's true.
That's true. That is true. Yeah, it's I thought it was some of those, you're the music that we chose, the title and everything is, I think that's
I love
why
it, man.
that's what I like. That
No, I love it. I just
It's
wanted to make clear that Dick Van Dyke and I
it
are
did
not-
say yeah. It fits in there, which is special. Is going to we're announced the exact day, but I was Vecchione's in March and Greg will be in April.
Nice.
So towards the end of those months, the end of those months,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
March, April, and so where I'm super excited for it to come out because it's great.
Oh, thanks.
It's
man.
great.
It was great, man. It was
It's super fun. It's just great. It's just a good time. And we did Joe's this weekend. And what I like is between you, Mike, and Joe, they're all very different specials. They're all very fun, but it's nice because they're all very different feeling. They're very different. You know, it's not like it's just the same thing going out.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's really going to be great.
It was awesome, man. Joe and Mike are.
Yeah.
Really, I saw some of Mike's. It's outstanding. I haven't seen Joe's yet, obviously, but Joe's one of my favorite comics.
I'm super pumped. It'll be exciting. We'll pump it hard, dude. It's gonna be great. So we can't talk about the Europe.
No.
And then where was I at this week? Oh, we did Joe's special in Asheville.
Looks like you had a UFC party.
I had a UFC watch party.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was pretty awesome. Like, so they asked me to do it. It'll be coming out on YouTube. I think their YouTube, they might do clips or something. But like when I was in Vegas, I got to meet Dana White, and then
Really?
and then he's the best. It was all. I mean, he was awesome there. I know people have feelings about stuff, but just my experience, I did not.
Yeah.
I did not get hit. And
Oh yeah. I know what you're talking about.
I met his wife. It was very nice. Dana's sober now. I mean, you know,
That'll do it.
Yeah. Really hit rock bottom. And then, we did a watch party. The UFC fight was great. John Jones.
Yeah, was Bo Nickel on that?
Bo won quick.
Yeah.
But Bo, no one talked about it. Like, it looked like he got a little groin hit in there. Like the start of the fight, he does a knee, and I they try to usually knee to like the inner thigh and all that kind of stuff, and it looked like it was a groin shot. And the ref didn't call it, the announcers didn't talk about it, and then Bo got him down, and then the submission. I mean, his submissions are just insane. It's a very like there's submissions you're like I don't even know what's going on. They're just on top, and then the guy just taps, and. So, but not to take it away, Bo was great, but it was one of those where you're like, I wish, when you watch sports and you see something and then they don't see it.
Right.
It drives you crazy.
And then you feel crazy.
Yeah, you're like, I'm looking it up on Twitter. I'm like trying to like look at it, like just being like, am I the only one that saw that? Like, and because you think the announcers are going to announce it.
Sometimes you can tell, like in football, when they're clearly just watching it from not on TV, but from the upper deck, because we'll see something, like you said, that they don't, and then they'll show the replay, and then they notices it. And we were like, well, we saw it the first time.
Yeah. And you're like, I should be announcing this game.
Yeah, I
I'm
do
seeing
think so.
stuff they don't.
Yeah. They're and sometimes they still don't see it. That's even gets the most frustrating. I mean, when they still like mine was always the Des Bryant. They said it was a catch. Remember the famous Des Bryant, the Green Bay Packers, when Cowboys playing the Packers, and it was the one they say he fumbled.
That it wasn't a catch.
That it wasn't a catch.
Yeah.
And people got crazy about it, but I would always watch that, and I was like, I kind of got why they didn't call it a catch. I just always kind of got it. Like, not saying that it was or it wasn't, or they should or they shouldn't, but I could. And sometimes when you hear people talking about it, you're like, someone's arguing, you want to go like, but can you acknowledge why you see why they would have done that?
Sure.
Like, you can be like, we can argue if it's a catch or not, but like, I feel like when the argument just goes, it's 100% that's completely wrong. But you're like, no, but you see, right? Like, the ball came out and like all this kind of stuff. You can argue that now, but at least that's like when arguing, you're like, just acknowledge, like, I understand.
Acknowledge I'm not crazy for disagreeing with.
Yeah, but that's the especially sports media.
Yeah.
You got to have a take, man, and you got to have that take hard. And you don't say, well, it could or couldn't be. You got to just be like, no, it's definitely not. And here's why. It's unreasonable.
It's the worst of all time, I'd say.
Yeah, exactly.
The worst of all time.
This is the worst call of all time, and in whatever sports,
organized sports, all of it.
Yeah, all of it.
Worst call in organized sports history.
Kids, my son's little league team.
Yeah.
To my daughter's softball team.
Yeah,
worst of all time.
Yeah, that Don Dinkinger call in the World Series, that guy was safe. And
no,
I mean,
he was not.
Well, I mean,
I know what you're doing here, man. I know exactly what you're doing here, but there's nobody that thinks that. Man. There's nobody.
I just said I do.
It's not like what Nate's saying. Everybody. There was no replay back then, Bates.
There was replay, and I've seen it. And, I mean, it was a. I can see why you think that.
I know why you're doing that.
It was
man.
safe.
I know exactly what you're doing.
Well, it was radio. Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying that most commentators in sports commentary school, they must be like, I don't care whether you think you're right or wrong. You just have a take and you have it hard.
When y'all would watch replays, would it be a drawing?
And it's a reenactment. Yeah. Man, it took forever.
It took forever.
But some of these guys,
you gonna tell me that's out? It's a
courtroom drawing.
Yeah, and a lot of time it was the guys that can draw that fast are the cartoon drawers. So they would all have big heads,
caricatures.
It was like, I think he's out, but he's got a giant head.
They brought this guy in. This guy, he used to work at Coney Island for 25 years. He was the best of the best.
I mean, there it is right there. Look, he's clearly safe.
He's
we can't see the bag.
There's nobody that thinks that, man. I know why you're doing this, man. That's the one call in my career.
And so they lost because of this.
Yeah, here's the thing. If they call him out, the game's over.
Yeah.
But it's like that thing with the Cubs.
Yeah.
Like they had plenty of chances that game to win it, and then the next game they got killed. So we were whining, but that guy got death threats.
We actually talked about this last time you were here, but
did we?
It is like the most egregious call.
It was all peanut butter back
in the World Series. Well, the first episode.
Well, why don't they show? Can you see his foot?
Well, that's a terrible picture of it.
Why would they? That's insane. If you can, if you're watching this on and not listening to it. Well, I'm saying if you watch it, you can see. If you listen, but they show it's like showing the stretch, but you do not see the base. You don't see the person that wrote this article. How does someone not go, hey man, we just can't. You're not going to work here anymore.
Do you think that the talk that they had with the guys, like, listen, man, do you see what's wrong here? Because the main issue of this, really, all you would have had to show is the feet. We don't even need the. Yeah, but I don't know, man. I just think artistically.
Because he goes, I don't know what cropping means.
Yeah.
He goes, I don't know what cropping means. You go, but you got to talk to someone younger, dude. Like that's out that can help you crop this in.
Yeah, but do you see how I got his facial expression?
And but you could see because you really want to go, where's the base?
Yeah.
Either that or the guy kind of realized, like, you understand that you can't see the base. Like, now that
he goes, I thought that. He goes, but my words describe the base.
Man, I blew it.
It's open for interpretation.
This article's written so well, you don't even need a picture.
Yeah. When is there not a better picture?
I'll find it.
Well, we showed video last time.
Here's one from a different angle.
Yeah.
It'd be great if there was 9 pictures without the base, all by the same guy.
Looks safe to me, dude.
Yeah, I mean,
No, you're just saying.
I know. It's clearly out.
This is a terrible.
Foot's on the bag, balls in the glove. He's about a foot above the base.
But I do think those guys all have to say they have to take a position and take it hard. I think they do that. With politics too, which is there's no room for the middle. But I think, like my brother, when my brother used to ref Little League soccer games when he was in college, and he said he was like one ref for the whole field, and the ball would go, and he'd have no idea whether it was out or not out. But he was like, that ball is out right there. Like you have to, if you're going to make a call, make it with authority.
And whether commit to it.
Commit. Yeah.
I was thinking about that with refs last night. Like I saw like a clip of that. You see the guy, and like I want to say it was maybe Iowa or something basketball, and the coach is just staring at the ref because he didn't like the call. We might to like the ref thing. Have we talked about the refs? Like, it's like I feel bad for these refs.
Oh yeah, me
like
too.
you want to go. I know, but you're like, dude, they're not getting paid. Like, what do you?
They're getting paid a fair amount.
Not enough to be like you're. Here's your thing. You're never. No one likes you. So here's the field that you get. You pick.
Yeah.
You pick a job that everybody hates you, and they hate you. They don't not like you. Like it's like, oh no, that guy annoys me. They want your family dead. Yeah. And then coaches are allowed to just ridicule you, and they might be wrong. And if they get proven that the ref was right and they were not wrong, the coaches do not have to come say I'm sorry or anything, and say like you did a great job. Everybody just trashes these guys, and it's really like the whole idea around it, and the idea they get treated like second class citizens. Like it's very gross, and I understand you can get upset about a call, but you're like, it's a person, dude. It's a human. Mm-hmm. So like, don't be like that guy. They said that ref got death threats.
He did. Yeah. It was terrible. It's embarrassing.
The guy who sent him.
I don't feel good about it. Because, I was a kid.
But I mean, back then it's like, it's like the way he looked at it, whatever. It's like, it's like, I mean, the guy probably felt terrible, I'd imagine. Mm-hmm. And then, and I get, now it's like refs are like trying to make it all about them sometimes or whatever. And so people get annoyed at that. I don't know. Refs should be they should be.
There's a trade-off,
better.
Right? They get to work in a fast-paced, exciting industry. They have their hours are good.
Yeah, but I don't.
Their uniforms provided for. I think there's good.
I don't think they get paid that much money.
Are you recruiting for something right now?
I'm just trying to take the opposite position here.
Yeah, I mean, you got to look. There's probably 20 of them that make a real living.
Not umpires, man. Baseball umpires make about $400,000.
Well, I was thinking about college level.
Even
MLB make a ton of money.
So if you get to that level, but there's not that many. But then anything below that is you're volunteering.
Oh yeah, man.
Oh yeah. Big difference between like a little league umpire.
But I still think that baseball. I mean, still even 400. Your life is just on the road and whatever. It's just like show some appreciation. That's all I'm saying. Like let's acknowledge. Like let's go through it and be like, how many calls have refs got wrong versus right? If someone could do that to go like, look, guys, they're 95% right. Yeah. And I get that they've missed these calls, but like it's that 5% is part of the game. Mm-hmm. And that's yes, be mad, do all this stuff, but like it's got to leave it. You're like a coach, you can't go humiliate another person. That's so gross. You just don't humiliate another person. Like who are you to humiliate another guy?
Right. And they're all, they're all lying to get whatever they want. The coaches, they'll say,
to get a call later.
When a player touches the ball and the ref doesn't see it, they don't go, I actually touched it. They make it up. And they just act like nothing happened, because they might not realize that they touched it, or they don't know what happened. So why would you come over and say something? Because I always thought that, would you ever come tell the truth and be like, no, I touched that? But then sometimes you could be like, you think you touched it, or maybe something, but maybe you didn't, or it's in the moment you didn't realize it. Yeah. So like, it's like don't say anything, but they really treat them like the enemy. They treat them, like they're the ones that invented this sport. And they're, and you're like, you're the problem.
Yeah.
And it's like, no. They're just out there.
Well, Dusty would say they're getting told what to do.
Yeah.
What? Dusty thinks it's all rigged, so it's scripted. Yeah. They're great actors.
No, I don't think it's all rigged.
I did it one time. I reffed a wrestling match one time.
Yeah.
It was when I was living in Texas. I was out of college, and my friend was reffing, and he called me like late on a Friday. He's like, hey, dude, there's a tournament tomorrow, and we one of our refs can't make it. And I was like, man, I don't want to. And I was like, all right, it was an all-day tournament, and I'd wrestled in college, so I kind of knew the rules. Mm-hmm. They probably had changed it or whatever. So I showed up, and I went right away. I went and bought a referee's jersey, the black and white. But I bought like a football. I bought the wrong jersey. I had like a long sleeve referee's jersey. Who cares, right? Yeah. So I showed up. And right away, they're all making fun of me. They're like, what are you doing, man? They're like, "What? You look like an idiot." I'm like, "Man, I don't want to be here. I don't want to do this." And then I just start reffing, and those coaches, and I knew some of these guys because I was coaching. They're all right. I mean, I was like, I'm going to fight them. Like, I never reffed one match after. It was awful, man. They were yelling at me, and they were like, the thing, like, that's not the rule. And I'm like, yeah, I guess it's not. Like, I didn't know the rules. Man.
Well, but that's the problem is that you want to go. You're like, I'm volunteered.
Yeah.
You know what you could have done? Not had this match today.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's like, so I understand. Like, there just has to be some rational thought. And you gotta. You just want that. You want to be like, is everybody coming to this rationally? I don't want to do this. I'm doing this as a complete, I'm doing it as a favor. So much so that this is how much I don't want to do it. I had to go buy a jersey.
Yeah.
So I had to wake up, go spend money that I didn't think it was because I'm just trying to, all right, I don't want the match
it
not
was
to
hot
happen.
too, man. I could see why it was the wrong jersey. I was sweating the whole time. It was bad. I mean,
I'd like to be a professional wrestling referee.
Those guys,
that.
Yeah.
No one pays attention to you. You get distracted while their guys are doing
something. They get taken advantage of a lot.
I know. That's why I think I'd be perfect for it.
Yeah, you would.
You've got experience in that.
Yeah. But they're going to come at you hard.
I could thrive.
That guy gets no respect ever.
Yeah.
That's like, I noticed.
Sign me up, coach.
I did a thing on BET early in my career, and a comedy thing, and I went on tour with these guys for a little while. And man, I'll tell you who gets zero respect in the comedy industry is the DJ at a black comedy show. Man. Those guys, it's part of their thing. They all get up there and the DJ and they'll be like, give it up a DJ. I mean, I told him not to play that track. I told him, and the guys, and then I think those guys at some point are going to go on strike and just be like, no, he did tell me to play that. He told me to play that just so he could go up and say he didn't say to play that, man. Those guys.
They got to tell him to cut it.
Yeah.
And then they might tell him to bring it back. And you got to be on.
Yeah, those guys got to be on, and they get, man, they take a lot of abuse on those guys do. Yeah. That's like being a professional wrestling referee.
Yeah.
I mean, give it up for DJ. This dude, man, I tell you,
cut it, DJ.
Cut it. Yeah.
How many shows have you done where you've had to cut it?
Me personally?
Have you ever tell them?
I've done this.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Because I've done black shows, and and I always let it linger out because it's always some rap song and then I come out.
Yeah.
I usually come out
that's
to
smart.
Hard Out Here for a Pimp.
Yeah.
And then I'll come out and they all laugh, and I always like surprise, whatever. And then eventually I'll do that. But I've worked with guys who their whole act is, you got to, like you said, you got to be on because they're going to tell you somewhere in the show, hit it, DJ.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think that's the right thing to do. When I was on that BET show, those guys they'd play music coming up to the stage, and all those guys, I was like the only white guy that season on this thing, and everybody would just dance.
Mm-hmm.
They'd be dancing, and I'm terrified of dancing. Like I can't. So I mean, I come out, I'd be like, cut. Like as I'm walking out, like please don't let me have to do
Not
this.
to
man.
the microphone.
Yeah.
But I should have leaned into it like you, man.
Yeah. Well, I didn't dance, but yeah.
Yeah.
I would love to see that though.
Yeah.
That would be the door opens. I picture the door open at Zany's, and you're just like,
Good. No.
already like, well, he's not even on the stage.
No. Please,
just cut it.
Don't let anybody.
I
see
danced
this.
once at a black church.
What?
They brought me up and made me dance before my set. I
you're doing a
killed, to be
show
honest
there.
with you. Yeah, I was doing a show there.
Yeah.
And before my part, they had they called it a step off or something where they brought people up and like they danced.
Oh.
And they brought me up, and
Is there video of this?
there's somewhere, I think. But I went for it and it like killed because it was so bad.
But
then I had to go do a set right after.
Did you commit to doing it?
I committed.
That's
I thought
the thing you got to do.
I
man.
was making a calculation in my brain. What would be the funniest thing to do here would be like overcommit
try
where it's really bad.
Yeah.
And it went pretty well. But there's pictures of video out there somewhere. I never want to see it.
Maybe the least embarrassing thing is to overcommit too.
Probably.
It's like, because if you don't do it, it's like, well, now it's just embarrassing for everybody.
And I have to do a set right after this too. So I want to play along.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that would be my nightmare.
You know what you need?
I'd walk in and just try to be the most, like, if I felt anything like that was happening, be like, no.
Yeah.
You're not going to go,
Before you do that, you got to have some Athletic Greens.
Absolutely. Our first partner today is Athletic Greens. I think all of us are trying to take our AG1 by Athletic Greens every day. We all gave AG1 a try because we wanted increased energy and immune system support, especially during cold and flu season. I take AG1 in the morning before starting my day, and it makes me feel like I'm doing something good to cover my nutritional bases. It's easier to mix one scoop of stuff than grab a bunch of different stuff from different bottles. It's the healthiest thing you can do in under a minute, and it costs less than $3 a day. I also get the single serving packs. You can put those in your suitcase, take them on the road. It's great. 75 vitamins, minerals, whole food sourced ingredients of the highest quality that have major benefits like gut and mood support, boosted energy, and healthier looking skin, hair, and nails. If you're looking for an easier way to take supplements, Athletic Greens is giving you, just you, a free 1-year supply of vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. Go to athleticgreens.com/Nate. That's athleticgreens.com/Nate. Check it out.
Did y'all have anything you want to?
I was in Bristol, Tennessee this weekend at Blue Ridge Comedy Club. Had great shows, great crowds. On my way home, I stopped at a gas station and a woman said, I know you. You're a comedian. And I said, yeah, I am. And she said, I saw you do a show once. She said, are you still doing it? And, and I said, yeah, I'm actually on my way home now. And I said, what show did you see me do? And she said, it was with Henry Cho back in January. It was a month and a half ago. It was January 15th. This was March 5th. Asked me if I was still doing it.
That is so funny, dude. I would have thought 10 years ago she saw you. Wow. You thought that guy's on his way out.
Yeah, man.
I think it was at your last show.
Yeah, I got to see Brian Fates' when he finally hung it up.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
That was so funny. Yeah. So I was...
good. Yeah. I think the lights. You said the lights go down?
Yeah. It was me. I was like,
maybe
the stroke's happening. It's happening.
Yeah.
It's the night the lights went out in Georgia.
Not said anything. And a couple of y'all here would have thought something went down.
Yeah. So that's where I was.
Do lights go out a lot? Do you see a lot of lights go out?
Do you guys think lights go out a lot?
Yeah.
I guess maybe.
No.
I was thinking about replay though. When I kind of remember when it first started in sports, like,
were you against it? Were you a purist?
I mean, the first time I thought they just scored again.
Yes.
They're moving much slower this time. Yeah.
On a roll.
But now, I mean, now there's a million angles in a Division III lacrosse game.
Yeah.
But back then it'd be the World Series and there's maybe 3 angles total.
Yeah, now you can still watch. I mean, I remember watching the old Vandy games where you're like, I'd be watching them on DirecTV, like having the channel and it's just a camera at the top.
Yeah.
basically.
Jefferson Pilot, remember those?
Oh, yeah. Jefferson Pilot was
JP
good,
Sports.
though. Jefferson Pilot was actually, that was like on CBS, right? Or
All right, maybe not Jefferson Pilot. Something about. I'm talking about the one that was always like on Channel 30, like locally, where the worst SEC game.
Yeah, like announcer is like the guy there.
Yeah,
like the
guy who just lives there.
Pilot, I think was like Saturday morning. Like,
I always thought that was like the worst SEC game.
Yeah, we had to wait for JP Sports to get over with for the Notre Dame game to come on. I think it was on NBC.
Yeah.
At the time, and it was always like Vanderbilt versus Mississippi State.
Yeah,
like, jeez, dude.
All right, maybe
sit through this nonsense.
Maybe I'm getting mixed up.
Just on the edge of my seat. Like, come on, and they're like trying to go to Notre Dame. You're like, give me a break. That's very funny.
Yeah, so that's where I was.
Hilarious. I was in Wisconsin. I did my first theater where I got my name on the marquee. Look at that.
Hey.
Wisconsin. Wow. It was in West Bend, Wisconsin at the Bend Theater. Really, everyone there was great. Their social media team's been super nice posting stuff, but this really made me laugh. They did a little recap of the show. Mm-hmm. Last night, we were absolutely blessed with a night of great laughs by the tremendous Aaron Weber and his CPAP. So I have a joke where I mention that I have a CPAP machine, but if you read this, I mean, it sounds like I bring it out on stage like one of Jeff Dunham's puppets. Like I sit it on the stool and like we do the act together. That really made me laugh. I was like, wow, I think I mentioned it once.
You can't say that.
Like
CPAP?
In the first 5 minutes maybe, and then I did a lot more after that. But the show was great. Thank you for everybody that came out. A lot of Nateland people there.
Is it just cool. Like right when you walk out, you just... In darkness.
The light
You're the
fades on.
CPAP.
Yeah.
You're the CPAP commercial.
You guys both have them, right?
Yeah.
Man, this is embarrassing, but I just went to have a sleep study.
Mm-hmm. It's not embarrassing. Both of us have done it.
No, that's not the embarrassing
I
part.
haven't done it, so I think it's embarrassing.
We haven't even got to. So, you go in and they hook like a bunch of wires up to like 100 wires up to you, and they put a thing in your nostril and they put a thing in your mouth, a tube in your mouth. And man, I pee a lot. I just do. And not just because I'm old. It's just like I always did. When I was a kid, I just had to always pee. My dad was like, are you kidding me? You know? So immediately I'm like, well, what if I got to go to the bathroom? She's like, well, you're just laying in there and there's a camera and you say, I got to go to the bathroom. They're listening to you.
Yeah.
So I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, oh no, this is going to be, it's going to be 10 times. Because it's going to get, normally it's 4, but it's going to get in my head. And then here's the thing, like, I guess as a kid, you know, I just go even if I don't have to, because I'm like, well, maybe I have to, and I'm just maybe I will have to, or like just in case that thing, just in case. So I'm like, so whenever I wake up, I just go just in case. So I'm freaking out. I'm like, oh no, this is going to be bad. I go, what happens? She goes, well, we come in and we unplug you. And so I'm in there and I'm doing my crossword puzzle, trying to fall asleep, and the lady comes over. She's like, over the announcement, she's like, are you biting the tube? I'm like, yeah, I'm biting the tube. She's like, well, stop it. You don't want to bite the tube. I'm like, okay. So she comes in like an hour later. She's like, I still can't sleep. And she's like, hey, you're biting the tube. You got to stop biting the tube. I'm like, okay. I go, hey, as long as you're in here, let's do the bathroom thing, you know? And I mean, it's not where she just unhooks a thing, you go to the bathroom. It's like 5 minutes for me to go to the bathroom to get unhooked, and I go to the bathroom, come back. It's another 5 minutes to put me back together. And I'm like, oh, now this is going to happen 10 times. That's like, I'm not going to sleep. And I had a show the next day. And I was like, this is bad news. And I told her right there, I go, hey, this may not go down. And she's like, what? I'm like, I don't know, man. I'm going to try my best. I try for another hour, and I just say out loud, I'm like, I'm going home. I go, she's like, what? I'm like, yeah, man, I'm leaving. Like, I can't do it. Do it. And I left. I just left. And I felt like such a coward. I
don't know. I might leave too. I don't know if I could do it.
I'm doing it. I'm trying to go. I think they didn't charge me.
How long ago was this?
Like 2 weeks.
Oh, because my father-in-law just did a sleep study and they let it do it at home.
Yeah, I did.
No, I did mine at home.
Okay,
but that
she came to your house.
No, I did the at home thing.
Yeah,
and that didn't. It was inconclusive. So they're like, you got to do the big one. So I emailed them back. I was like, man, I'm sorry. I just freaked out that night. I had a show. I can't let this beat me, man. I want to try again. So I may go again. It was embarrassing, man. And I know why my brother, Matt, does whatever he wants to do. He just does. He's one of these guys who does whatever he wants to do. And one time he's diabetic and he was going in for a big surgery, like some hernia surgery. And he's like, hey, you guys, my blood sugar doesn't feel right. You're going to check it. And they're like, no, you're fine. Trust me. He's like, man, I don't want to go under with my blood sugar. And they're like, no, you're fine. Trust me. He goes, I'm leaving. And he just left in the middle of his surgery. He just pulled he's like, I'm leaving. They're like, you can't leave. This is a big deal. He's like, no, I'm leaving. So I had that in the back of my head. I'm like, well, Matt left surgery. I could leave this.
You could leave a sleep study.
So but I left that. I left it. And I feel like there's people that are in.
I don't know how you could fall asleep though.
That was in my head.
Can you not take something, I guess? I
think maybe I will. Maybe take a melatonin or something, but then that probably affects your sleep. They're not getting a true read on your sleep.
Results,
yeah. So I'm going to try again. And this time I'll just stay awake for the whole time if I have to. And I'll get up and pee 10 times. If I don't want to, I feel like now I let it beat me, but,
because that's the person's never like probably happy you're getting up to go pee because they got to stay up.
Exactly,
the whole time too.
Man. They're probably going to be like, oh, that's fine. But on the 7th one, I'm like, it's not going to be fine with you.
Yeah.
Man. I'm
just
a
don't
maniac.
have anything to drink.
The thing is, I'm a maniac. I get in my head. I'm like, well, do you got to pee?
Yeah.
Maybe you don't. Maybe as long as you're up, you might as well.
Greg, Aaron and I can go ahead and tell you, you have sleep apnea. We can tell by looking at you.
Yeah.
You know, man, the doctor said something. The doctor, I think that the whole thing might be a shakedown because the doctor is like, open your mouth. I'm like, it's like, yeah, you got it. I was like, come on, man.
Yeah.
He said, yeah, I'll tell you what, 90% of the people in the world need a CPAP. I'm like, so God just made it so 90% of the world, the people had to have a machine to like, yeah. But that's
90% is a little high.
I think so, man. He ruined it. If he would have said 30.
So how do you know you have it like at home or when you think you have it?
Snoring and gasping for air and waking up.
Yeah, you wake up and you feel like you haven't slept at all because you haven't.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good indication. I know plenty of people that you just look at them and you're like, you need one for sure.
Yeah.
Because there's no way you're sleeping better than I was.
Is it my face or is it?
No, I don't. You don't strike me as one of those guys. I think Brian was joking.
Your face.
what part of my face?
You got a CPAP face.
Just the whole, your whole face.
Yeah.
Like the eyes?
He goes, you should open mouth. He goes, I'm looking at you. From across the street, I would have told you this guy.
He told me that. And
I was standing in my office window and I watched and I go, I bet that guy's got CPAP. And then you showed up in the office. And I was like, come on.
Yeah, he saw me at Starbucks right before and I was like, this guy ought to come in. You walked in, I knew it. No, he asked me, he's like, is your dad a snorer? I'm like, yeah. He goes, yeah, you're definitely in.
Yeah, like, that's what he did with me too.
He goes, we got to go through the stuff, but you got this, man. And I'm not sure I do because I think if I sleep on my side, I don't. But I roll over to my back sometimes, and that's when I notice,
You ever wake up with a weird taste in your mouth?
Yeah, but it was because I was eating dark chocolate almonds before I went to bed.
Well, you got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
And that's the first step is you start blaming stuff like that. Well, I had chocolate last week. And
I licked a penny a couple weeks ago.
I went to
that's not gonna stay with you the whole time.
It's just when they're that sure about it, I get a little suspicious. I went to this dentist one time, and so I was living in LA a long time ago, and he was like, "Oh yeah, you grind your teeth. You definitely you're a grinder. You're gonna have to get these mouthpieces." And he goes, "Don't feel bad. It's a lot of people have it." He pulled out like a People magazine. I said, "Look at Mel Gibson." He goes, "Grinder." This guy's, I can tell he's the
sexiest man alive.
Yeah, he goes, it was when he was like when he was before he flipped out. He's like, this guy's, I can look at these guys right away. I can spot a grinder anyway.
Yeah.
He goes, you're a grinder, man. You grind.
Yeah. I have a joke about it.
About grinding?
Well, it hasn't ever really completely worked. I've done it. So I'm not gonna almost say it, and I might still try it. But the idea of that, like saying like when a guy does it, it was like the first thing where you're like, I don't care. Like when they told the dentist, one dentist, he goes, you grind your teeth, and I'm like, I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care. Like, because
I'm not going to change how I live at this point.
Yeah, you got to wear the thing, and then you're like, how do you even know? And you're like, I mean, I don't know if I don't feel like I wake up with my mouth sore or something. It's like, no, you're doing it, and the only time you can do it is when they're like, when do I do it? Only when you don't know you do it. You're like, well, now I don't believe any of this.
Yeah. And also, if I am, you make more money, right? If I'm a grinder, this tends to
sure.
Yeah, you got to pay for it. Yeah, it's a whole thing.
Affect your business positively.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a whole thing. All right, let's read some of these comments.
I think before we get to that, all you need is a little better help.
You do need better help. Better help. You should, instead of grinding your teeth or that, you talk it out.
Yeah.
Talk it out. I'm always learning new things about myself and trying to get better in my relationships. And I'm not trying to get in I'm not trying to make people deal with me better.
Yeah.
That's how you should, but that's why you need better help. Because you shouldn't think that. Your idea shouldn't be, I'm gonna make people, it's not me, it's them.
Yeah.
You have that mindset. That's not always good. It's easier to fix yourself than the world. You know who said that? Me, Michael Scott. Getting to know yourself can be a lifelong process because we are always growing and changing. Therapy is about finding some understanding, but because sometimes we do not know what we want or why we react the way we do until we talk through things. It's, especially now, man, therapy is one that's probably going to just pop, like even get crazier and crazier because, I mean, it's just a zoo for people. It's all day. and everything's very heavy, and it's something I think people will never give time for. I know I it's like you can easily be like, well, I'm not going to go talk to someone, but it's like if you're just trying to like enjoy your life better and have a better outlook, it's like this is what BetterHelp does. It is entirely online, makes it super convenient, flexible, and can fit to any schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist. You can switch therapists anytime, so you better find someone to talk to, whatever you want to do. Therapy is helpful for learning positive coping skills for everyday life. It's not just for major things. Again, it's like at work, like the thing you get annoyed and you're like, you're always annoyed at maybe one person or something, and you're like, well, I want to stop being annoyed at that person because it can't. This is not fun to just be like angry at whatever for no reason. You need to learn to deal with it. And that's it. Just fix yourself. It's easier to fix yourself. Discover your potential with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/Nate today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/Nate. All right, let's read some of these comments. Let's give these people some better help.
Yeah.
Brent Myers. Having just watched Ken Burns' series on the history of country music, I was excited when I saw the subject of this week's pod. Listening to the show, however, reminded me how knowing something about the weekly topic makes for a slightly more frustrating experience. Yeah, I could see that.
Good too. Now I've seen that documentary.
Yeah.
I'd love to know what it was exactly we had wrong.
Yeah, Brand offers no specifics there.
I think it's the whole episode.
Just in general?
All of it. But I understand what he's saying. I'd imagine that could be like if you just watch something and then we talk about it,
right?
And then you're like, just because it's probably not. You're not mad at like the opinions or you get what this is. We're idiots, but it's. But just like little stuff, you're like, well, but that guy did that because of the, we didn't know that. You're like, yeah, that's true. But it's like, Ken Burns is like a nice healthy meal and we're McDonald's. You don't tell everybody about us, but you're all coming. Zach James, I really wish you guys have touched on how many famous country singers are all related to each other. It's an unbelievable number. Also, I'm confused how Bates had teenage friends in the 90s. That timeline seems skewed.
That's fair. Because we talked about my friends who got into altercation with Tracy Lawrence in 1994 when they were teenagers. They are younger than I am. I only knew, I guess I knew 2 out of 3 guys, but they were younger than I was. But
you still friends with them? I mean, wait, were you how much older than we were?
They were probably about your age.
Oh, 43? Back then.
I was a little older than them. No, there's probably like 7 years difference between
Big
us.
Brother program.
So you're in college and you were hanging out with like high school kids?
I think that's what Zach was getting at.
Yeah, I think that's what Zach was getting at.
I think that is what Zach was getting at. I mean, it was during the summer. We're back home.
All right, man.
Yeah, it's just they live in my hometown.
Small town.
But how are you? You're 7 years older than me?
Yeah.
So you were 7 years older than these kids?
I mean.
So that means, wait, were you in college?
Yes.
So you would have been 20, 19, 18, 19?
Yeah.
And they were 12?
All right. I believe that Wikipedia page said it happened in 1994.
1994, which you would have been 23.
Okay. So I was 20.
So they were
17?
Yeah, 17, 18 high school kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're just I'm not saying we hang out every night, but I knew these kids.
Guys that are around,
it's a small
the
town.
families.
Yes.
Right.
Thing about high school, they stayed the same age.
And then the other thing, what was he said about singers related? I mean, I Googled it. I didn't see the brothers Osborne or their brothers.
Yeah.
Those Alabama guys are all related, aren't they?
Yeah, but I mean, I guess it's just kind of the Statler brothers are related.
I wonder if they're all related, like, the Allman brothers. Like, like there's, I wonder if they're
the Doobie Brothers.
The Doobie Brothers.
Well, they're not.
Well, maybe the people are related to, like, I'd imagine, he's talking about even other bands.
Yeah.
I mentioned a couple weeks ago when you weren't here that Loretta Lynn and Crystal Gale are sisters.
Yeah.
Dusty did not know that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was that in the Ken Burns documentary?
Yeah,
I think I just knew that.
Might have been. Well, I wonder if it is crazy. I wonder if they're all related, but it's like just different bands. It's like, well, that guy's cousins of that guy in that band. And you're like, oh, wow, that's crazy. And you're like, it's all just, I'd imagine, I could see it being a lot.
Yeah.
McDaniel A. Bose, right?
I guess.
McDaniel A. Bose. I love the
MC
Bates,
Daniela Bose.
MC Daniela Bose. All right, I like that. I love the Bates idea of a recent cover of the Dottie West song is from 24 years ago.
That is true.
Yeah.
That was back when you were hanging out with the high school.
1999.
Yeah, Bear. Yeah. Were you still hanging out with these high school kids?
So that would have been 30. It might have been, what year did that song come out?
I had this song, so it was before my time.
It was Jody Messina. Somebody's gonna. It was that song that Dusty was saying last week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it was 99. So it might have been more than 24 years. It might have been 34 years.
Yeah,
It was recent. Anyway, let's not worry about it.
Captain Jim Shorts. Aaron saying country fans are the only fans who are defensive about their genre. Couldn't be more wrong. The man's not heard a couple of metalheads get into an argument. Yeah, I think you're both talking about this. Yeah, but I'd imagine both are. But yeah, I could metalheads. I'd imagine.
Yeah,
like Slipknot fans or something like, or I guess that metal. Yeah. Like it's like they get super,
sure,
because people are more angry at their music.
That's true. It is a much angrier genre.
Yeah. But country, I could.
Des Moines, Iowa, man. Those guys live across the street from my buddy.
Oh, really?
Slipknot.
Yeah. They all live together?
No, I guess it's fine.
They probably got families.
Probably one of them.
Yeah. Probably normal.
Apartment
Just
together.
A normal neighborhood.
I thought it was just a guy, man. I thought Slipknot was a dude, but he's got a nice house. So we walked by his house.
Yeah.
We walked by Slipknot.
Hello, Mr. Knott.
Mr. Knott.
Real nice house.
Yeah, it's a 5-person band, I think. Well, some of these, there's like 30 people in it.
And they wear masks.
Yeah.
So no one even knows who they are.
Yeah, who knows if it is them?
Yeah, anybody. He lives across the street from me,
See,
Greg.
that's intense.
I'm telling you, man. My buddy Troy wouldn't lie, man.
No.
But he said, how does he know?
I think it was that guy.
The guy in the middle.
Yeah, it's the guy in the middle.
It was the pinhead.
Man. Yeah,
that makes sense.
Man, you see that guy out mowing the lawn. It's a weird.
Probably fun to wear a mask, especially if you get like super. When you get famous and you have money and you can get masks made, then your band becomes like, because then you're like, hey, these masks are like annoying. You're like, no, we can give you like a real deal. You could do like a makeup.
It'll be ventilated.
Yeah.
But I think those masks are the expensive masks are probably the more restrictive.
I think make them to your face. But I mean, that's got to be with Slip. Like, I wonder if it's constantly like you get no like, like, hey, can I get a table at this crowded restaurant? You're like, no. You're like, I am Slipknot.
You put the mask back
on. You go, that's me. You got to Google your. You go, I'm the one in the middle. You go, I mean, dude, I guess everybody's Slipknot. Hey, everybody's Slipknot's here.
I just watched a documentary on The Undertaker, your dentist, and he was talking about how all the other wrestlers, they can kind of be out of character when they're out in public, but he was such in his prime, just that accepted, Prince of Darkness or whatever. He had to wear the black. He had to he couldn't be smiling. He couldn't be doing like, if he had pictures made with kids at the airport, he couldn't be smiling in it.
Right.
He had to be that character kind of all the time, even though he's in Southwest in the middle seat. He has to be the Undertaker.
Yeah.
Man, you think the Undertaker flew Southwest?
Well, I'm just saying. I was trying
it's
to
an expression.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's an expression. You know that old expression, Southwest middle seat.
Stitch in time saves 9.
You said like y'all are husband and wife. He's trying to be nice.
It's an expression, Greg. Tell as old as time.
Michael Finley. Hey, Barry, I know Michael Finley. I don't think this
But
is... Mike Finney. It's my
Finney, man.
Yeah, I used to have. I have a billboard somewhere. Oh,
that guy, I think he did the
behind the
Tonight
wolf,
Show
yeah.
as a comedian and as a magician.
As a magician, yeah.
He was funny,
Yeah,
man.
yeah, oh yeah, he's great. He's great. Hey Bear, I grew up in Oklahoma. My best friend's family owned a health food restaurant that was. I'm gonna tell you, it's not the guy we're talking about. I grew up in Oklahoma. My best friend's family owned a health food restaurant that was not far from where Garth and Trisha lived. When I was like 10, 11 years old, I would serve Garth and Trish their drinks if I was at the restaurant. Thanks for the great podcast. Truly gets so much enjoyment out of my day listening. I put emphasis on wrong words.
Yeah.
That's a big thing I have with reading.
I've heard it, man.
Yeah.
You guys talked about it though.
Wait, like
Yeah.
how? Well, I didn't pick up.
Truly get so much truly get so much. I'd have to like pause more and I go truly get so much. And you're like, well,
Okay.
now the sentence is like, what? Even the sentence is like,
Right out of the gate.
I'm not this.
Yeah.
The sentence is like, I'm not this guy you're making me. Yeah. That's awesome. All right. Was there something else? They just,
Nope, just filling the time.
yep. Joel Palmer. We visited the Opry a few years ago. Took the standard tour. We get on stage and each stood in the circle and they seemed fine with it. I just learned in this podcast that it probably shouldn't be done. Oh well. Hey Bear. Yeah.
Well, I more believe that I got the details of that wrong. I've been telling people you're only allowed to step in the circle if you're performing there, but maybe they're a little more lax about it than
They let everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you pay to take a tour,
Mhm.
you can do pretty much whatever you want.
So that you can't. You thought you couldn't walk across.
Well, they
it?
cut out that circle from the original Opry stage at the
wow.
Ryman,
Mhm.
and they moved it to the new where the Opry is now. And I was told at some point, I can't even remember by whom, but somebody said you're only allowed to step in that circle if you're performing there.
Whom.
They told you not to stand in there.
You knew to say whom.
That feels good to use it when you know it's correct.
Yeah, that was the correct time to do it.
Yeah. You leaned into it a little bit.
Yeah. I'll
Kind of show off.
say it a little bit louder.
Did you have any thought, or just whom rolled out of your?
Well,
like you
typically,
knew?
if it follows a preposition, then you know
Yeah.
it's whom's
Yes,
coming
Nate,
out.
come on.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like, but I mean, do you think about that when you're saying the sentence?
I thought of it now, saying it on
Yeah.
this podcast. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But in real life, you would have just
If I'm talking to my parents or whatever, no, it just kind of comes out.
you would have just known. Yeah, well, y'all talk very, proper. So it's like you would have just known to say whom.
I think so.
Yeah.
Muscle memory at this point.
Wow.
You know?
Yeah.
Wow,
Notre Dame education.
Yeah.
That'll do it, man.
Yeah.
that's like what it. Yeah, that is like that's probably what education is.
You think that, or
lot
you
of
think
it.
we're just dumber than the average people?
Would you have said it whom?
No, I don't think so. What was the sentence?
I was told, but I can't remember by whom.
Oh,
By
no,
who?
I would have said who.
I would have told, but I don't remember by who told me.
Who told me?
Who-
Yeah.
I can't remember who told me.
Yeah.
I can't remember. Yeah, yeah. Real. That's a real It's like a fancy plate. You're a fancy plate and a bunch of paper plates. That's
It's good.
We're both doing
It's
the
good.
same thing, though.
huh?
We're just like the plates. We're both doing the
We're
same
doing
thing.
we're doing
Yeah.
the same job.
And mine's a little more work to maintain.
But yours is more work to maintain, and
Uh-huh.
everybody's like, "Where did you get that fancy plate from?" And then you go, "Well, you got to be invited into this where we get it. You
Yeah.
bring your own plate." I want to be someone that brings my own plate to other people's parties.
Have you ever seen somebody do that? That's a crazy move to
I
bring
like
your own
it, man.
plate.
So paper plates is like I can get very weird about like the utensils or the pay like I don't. There's a lot of stuff I don't like.
Got some tactile things
I got
you
some,
don't like.
yeah.
What don't you like?
Napkins, kind of like napkins can. I mean, I can use them to not be an animal somewhere, but it's I can't crumple them. I'll never crumple a napkin.
Oh,
But you
one
like
of my favorite
you like
things.
a cloth napkin though?
Yeah, I like it to be a little bit thicker. But like even if I ever have a napkin, I will always have it very folded properly. Like you'll never, and then I use it and I properly. I never crumble it and like
You never do a bib.
Even on
the
like
collar,
barbecue or something?
No barbecue. I'd try to wash my hands before I would get. I'd
wipe.
go. I don't even know if I like wet wipe. It's even if I ate like barbecue, I would almost just be you go and they have the rolls,
Paper towels?
paper towel rolls.
Mhm.
So I would have to grab a few of them. It can't be just one. I need to grab a thick where it feels thick. And so I'd grab a few that are thick and I have it completely flat. And then or it's sitting on me.
Mhm.
And then I would do whatever I want to go do. That's why barbecue's like tough for me because it's like I'd rather
mess.
do it's a mess and I like when it gets all over me and it's like I don't have an easy.
It's tough, man.
If I had like a towel, I mean I have a towel. I bring a towel with me now, like a lot
Like a
of
beach
places.
towel?
No, like a hand towel.
Oh,
Like but it's like
to a
from the-
restaurant?
You know the black? No, not to a restaurant. I mean, yeah. I'm close. I've never done it, but I'm close.
Close to bringing a towel to
Yeah.
a restaurant?
Better help.
Yeah, better. Yeah.
You're going to have one over your shoulder like one of those fat guys on stage.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, dude.
I'm gonna
Hey, I'm starting to do that, man. Come on.
Are you bringing a towel on stage?
Oh, I did it once, and
No, man.
I got
I
sucked
loved it.
in, man.
He loved it.
I'm a sweat
You're
towel
not,
guy
you're
now,
not
dude.
that guy, man.
Oh, but it's fun. It's a fun
It's-
energy to have.
Yeah.
It is. Those guys, I know a couple of those guys, and they are funny, but you don't want to be doing that yet, man.
I'm not.
You're
I'm
looking
not.
good these days.
Oh, thanks, man.
Yeah.
But I have one on the stool just in case.
Yeah.
the
I
set-
have one on the stool.
If the set's not
Out
going
there.
well, I will need it.
Yeah.
I'll be sweating.
I've never used it. I've had one on the stool. I've never used it. But it's just on the stool. Like I said, the mic laying on it, and I get it's just there. I guess it's like water. Like I don't always drink water on stage.
No, I'm that way with
But-
water. Yeah, I have the water, and I barely ever
Yeah.
do it. But
It's like it's there, and the towel's there, just in like I don't
what's
know.
the towel for, though, man?
Nothing. I don't sweat on stage.
I'll wave it
but it's-
around,
yeah.
dude.
Pop people.
Yeah, I mean, you lean, it could be a
It
device.
just
and
kind
scat.
of
Yeah.
it just kind of sits. I mean, the thing sits on the stool. It's like nothing really. It's like almost like decoration. But I would use it like I've had to use it maybe once. Like if you just feel like you got some on your face, or you're like sometimes it's like if you do have water and it gets in your beard, like you just kind of wipe it off. But I don't ever use it. It's just there. There's no really reason for it. It's like almost like it's just like an old thing that's always been kind of through.
Okay.
But now, because I have the mic laying on because I don't have a mic stand out there. And so I have the mic laying on the stool. So it actually lays on the towel.
Okay.
So then it's like, it's kind of there. So it's not just rolling around. But I don't use it for that.
When I'm not using it, I hang it on the mic stand, the towel.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I kind of make myself at home.
Yeah,
right
it's
there,
it's
you know?
like a prop.
I'll have
for
to
you.
go like, but if we eat something though, I'll have to watch. I'll have to be like, I'll go wash my hands first.
In between. Oh, but
In between. I'll try to eat with a fork, but then in between. I don't think I like to be messy.
yeah, barbecue's tough. I've
Yeah.
gone in the middle of a session, and be like, hey, I'm gonna wash off my hands and come
Yeah.
back and
Yeah.
go. But
Session.
I don't know. Whatever. I guess yeah.
A
And
meal.
I'll tell you another thing, man. Those
Yeah.
barbecue towels that you're talking about, the roll of towels, haven't been in that business. They're not the best paper towels you
Yeah.
can get. I was Procter and Gamble had Bounty. I didn't.
Bounties.
I didn't sell it, but my partners, my teammates,
Yeah.
sold it, and it's a big difference, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they're doing. Yeah. I mean, Bounty's Bounty. I don't think Bounty's even looking at those paper towels like competition, or
Well,
could they be competition? 'Cause
I mean,
they're
if you
cheaper.
were wanting to set yourself apart
Yeah.
as a barbecue restaurant, here's
got
one way to do
Bounty.
it. You put Bounty paper towels up there, and right away people are going to start coming more. It's
yeah, that's expensive though.
it's real expensive.
Yeah.
It's real expensive.
But it would be nice.
we're not in the we're in the consumer. We're not in the restaurant business.
I
But
think,
Right.
yeah. You go. We wouldn't even. So you would be like, I shouldn't even be talking to you about this. Like we're above this. I'm doing this as a favor.
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, you may not even get a rep to call on you. You might have just go to
Yeah.
Sam's or Costco and just buy a giant bunch of Bounty.
Right.
But I'm telling you, you'd make your mark. I've been in some restaurants or even hotels where it's like, man, this is Charmin. This is they went above and
yeah.
beyond,
Oh,
and
yeah.
you're like, this is a nice experience.
I feel better with a Bounty. I would definitely feel a lot.
I think you would, man.
I think I would too.
With a nice print,
Yeah.
like a holiday print on it.
But I usually do brisket. Like I'll do brisket or pulled pork. I'm not a big rib fan, but if you could pull it off, I loved Applebee's had the boneless ribs.
Oh yeah,
Man,
Yeah.
those were good.
Man,
that was good.
I've been
That's
getting
what Laura used to always get.
I've been getting into ribs a little bit,
Mhm.
but yeah, briskets, man, that's a
That's something.
Mm.
Michael Saylor. Michael Seller. Saylor. Ending a country music episode with a picture of Michael Jackson's
Michael
childhood.
say your butter sure.
Huh?
Never mind. Michael, sail your boat ashore.
Yeah.
Is that?
Oh boy.
Yeah. I should have pulled up on that.
Oh boy.
Get that light out.
Flash that light again. Yeah.
It's row your boat, isn't it? If it was row your,
Row
you guys
your
have been.
boat.
If it was row your, you guys have been cheering.
That's
and
true.
Yeah, you'd have been asking me to go deeper into
Warren,
that. But I just got the song wrong. Is all.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
sailing. It's you didn't sail it ashore. You row it.
Yeah.
The
Hallelujah.
you come back and it's like, all right, Greg had to go. He had to run somewhere. Michael Sailor ending a country music episode with a picture of Michael Jackson's childhood home is so on brand for this podcast. Maybe that's why Nate can recall nuggets of information, but does not remember the episode from which it came. Love the podcast. Excited for the Bridgestone show. Yeah. Why did we show these on?
We're talking about,
Oh, people's homes that you'd go to.
yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Chase Schubert. In the original Friday Night Lights, Tim McGraw's character walks around drunk, physically abusing his son, Don Billingsley, for continuing to fumble the football. Just stop it. It's like a comma.
Yeah.
For continuing to fumble the football. The real Don Billingsley came to speak to my football's team FCA group and share his testimony. Turns out he fumbled the ball once in his high school career, but recovered it himself. And his dad rarely ever drank, was never drunk, and never laid a hand on him. Leave it to Hollywood to recklessly destroy the reputation of two stand-up guys for the sake of a better plot. Yeah, that's a tough. Because you gotta, because here's the argument with it. I agree, but the argument is this as big of a show if they don't have a relationship like that. Like they have to do it for the. Is that like? I mean, I don't even know if I've seen Friday Nights. Maybe.
Well, this is the movie.
The movie. I think I did see a long time ago. But isn't that the main thing, or is that like a giant
No.
storyline?
No, it's kind of a
Then there's
side plot.
But it's
of it,
it's a good plot. I mean,
Yes.
and nobody. I read the book, I saw the movie, and I watched the show.
Yeah.
And I certainly don't think I thought this was a documentary or something. Or you know,
But at least
But
even
I get like anybody that meets him is going to go, "Oh, did you
Yeah.
fumble?"
Yeah.
Like, and your dad was a big drunk, and it really is dad. Like that, you want to go like, no, my dad was like a good guy. Like he wasn't. I could see.
Yeah.
I
No,
totally understand the
you're right.
frustration, but it's like, yeah, it's tough because it's like, you know, maybe you don't need it, and maybe it's still just as big without it.
I used to have a joke about all these based on true sports stories. Even there's usually the other team, they're terrible. Like I'm thinking about football. They're usually yelling racist stuff or what in so many of these movies. Even if that's true, they were like 16 then, and that their real names are in the movie.
Yeah.
Now they're 42,
Man, that is true.
working a job,
God, I
and they're
would
making
hate
a
that.
movie about you.
Yeah.
and you're like,
I would
oh,
hate to have
man.
anything
Yeah,
I did.
that would be tough. Yeah, yeah, I get it. That's tough.
I fumbled. I was a center my senior year in football. I was the only year I played football, and I was a center, and we played at Busch Stadium where the Cardinals play, and I fumbled the snap 4 times in one quarter. It was terrible. It was awful.
How does a center fumble a snap? Not the quarterback.
Oh, that's dude.
Well,
I played center. That's
it
the
was
easiest
on
thing
me.
to do.
You mean like literally the ball just came out your
I
hand?
guess I could have blamed him, but I knew it was. I was probably one
Yeah.
not getting it up right because he was a more experienced player than I was. It was bad.
No, dude. Never blame the lineman. You know,
Yeah,
it's always the quarterback's fault. I'm so sympathetic to centers. Anytime a snap goes wrong, I go, "It's probably the
really.
yeah." I never blame the center
because he's nervous and he's pulling out too.
it's, you know, dude, they get all the praise and the glory.
Yeah. They can
Yeah.
take a
Let
little
them
bit
take some of the blame
Let's do
too.
one more, and then we can move
Yeah.
on.
Just go to
No, the first one's fine.
okay. I used to work Jennifer Landris. I used to work at Disney's Great Guest Communications in the 90s. This department answered guest letters and emails. So many people wrote asking if Walt's body was frozen that we had a standard response we copied and pasted to reply. The title of the file was Walt Not Frozen. It included info about where he was buried. I'm not sure if Aaron's conspiracy theory is true, but the Disney company has been refuting the story for a long time. Wow.
Yeah,
So
but
it's
if
not-
Walt's body was frozen, that's
what you would
exactly
say.
the kind of
Yeah.
response that you
Well,
would
it was
prepare.
his
For
head.
sure.
His
sure.
heady. His head was. So what if they go? His body is. Yes, body's buried.
Body's not
here.
frozen.
The
Yeah.
body's not. And they just keep going. The body's not frozen. Yeah. What is head? The body's buried there. You go, the head. You keep asking.
You go, yo, usually the head's attached to the body
Yeah.
and his body's over there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys. As a parent, your top priority is always your child's well-being. We know that. Nate and I know that.
Yeah.
Greg's got kids out there in the world.
I don't.
You want to give them everything they need to grow and thrive, both now and in the future. With term life insurance from Fabric by Gerber Life, help protect your family so their future is secure no matter what happens. Fabric was designed by parents, for parents, to help them get a high-quality, surprisingly affordable term life insurance policy in less than 10 minutes. It takes less than 10 minutes to apply, see your quote, and then personalize your quote to fit your family's needs. You could be offered coverage instantly with no health exam required. Boy, that would really help me out. Fabric has partnered with Gerber Life, trusted by millions of families like yours for over 50 years. They have a 30-day money-back guarantee. Cancel at any time. Protect your family today with Fabric by Gerber Life. Apply today in just 10 minutes at meetfabric.com/Nate. That's meetfabric.com/Nate. MEET fabric.com/Nate. Policies issued by Western Southern Life Insurance Company. Not available in certain states. Prices subject to underwriting and health questions. All right.
Oh.
All right.
So this week, I just called it the return of Greg Warren because we didn't get into the Missouri stuff last time like a lot of people wanted to get into. So I got some Missouri stuff, but I got to ask first. All right.
Yeah.
We did an episode on peanut butter and potato chips.
Yeah.
It aired on May 18th.
Yeah.
We broke the story about Jif. You gave all the inside secrets. 2 days later, a recall.
I know where this is going. Yeah,
a Jif recall because of salmonella.
I know where this is going.
No, just come out and say it. I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell me, was it a hit job? Was it something? Did you expose too much? And
no, man. I mean, it was tough. It was very tough, and I got a lot of pictures of shelves, empty shelves from your listeners, and what happened was there was 14 jars across the country,
just 14
that they found salmonella in, and
Salmonella.
Salmonella. Yeah. And we took it down. Okay. We took it all down. It was gone for about, it's back. And I don't feel good about it.
You think now is it back and y'all just leaning into the salmonella and giving all the bottles
No,
salmonella?
man. No. That's
like,
not.
is that?
No.
But is that the easier way to go?
No,
Greg?
it's not, Nate.
To just go.
It's
We
not.
can't.
I see what you're doing here, man.
It's
But these people's
50-50.
lives depend on
We're
this,
talking
man.
about Jif. It's 50-50 if salmonella.
No, it's
in there.
It's not. Okay.
So we're just going to 100% and we're going to just advertise.
Yeah.
It definitely has salmonella.
I want to point out right now.
What is it called?
It's salmonella.
Salmonella.
I want to point out right now that this happened in 2006 with Peter Pan.
Oh,
it did.
wow.
Okay? This did.
How many bottles do you think they had?
I don't know, man. I mean, I don't know, but it hurt them. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
And it happened just this past year in 2022. Skippy, they found some metal particles in their peanut butter, and they shut it down. Okay. Now that doesn't make it right for Jif. Okay.
But so this has been happening for years.
Well, I don't know about years. It's a bad situation. You know,
When it happened to Peter Pan, did they just send out bottles of him throwing up on the on the new thing? And then
I don't even remember hearing about those. But
What's
Jif,
that?
Oh, exactly.
well, Jif
it's
is a different
2006,
ballgame.
man.
Yeah.
You're running around with teenagers in your neighborhood. Yes.
But whatever was last year.
Right, yeah, it was, man. It happened. Okay. I feel terrible about it.
As a salesman, would you have to go and pull all those off the shelf? That's
a
be your
good question, man. Well, it didn't happen on my watch.
I know,
Banks,
but if you were still doing it.
Yeah. I would bet that, our retail force probably had to get in there.
You had no recalls on any of your products when you were working
Man,
Procter & Gamble?
No, I don't think so. Not that I. No, we didn't have any recalls.
Wow.
Yeah,
we
had like outdated juice that we had to pour out. When I had the
pour it out,
the Citrus Hill brand.
Yeah.
When back when we had Citrus Hill orange juice, they'd say,
Citrus Hill orange juice.
Hey man, Citrus Hill. We didn't do that well in that business. Like we got beat up. But I'll tell you right now, everything that you enjoy in orange juice today we came up with. Everything.
Whoa.
Everything. You
Pulp
know,
free?
Yeah, I think that's us.
Because
that's maybe the one thing I enjoy in orange juice. Yeah.
The main thing. Okay, no, it's not. It's not, Aaron.
Okay,
I'll guarantee you it is not.
Okay.
There's a lot of stuff that you take for granted.
You're probably right.
Yeah. So back in the day, you'd have a cardboard carton of orange juice, right? And you'd have to unfold the top to pour it out, and it would get soggy, you know. And then somebody put a screw off top on the side.
Whoa.
Citrus Hill.
Wow.
Okay. And then, you know, now, like, let's say you want a big jug of orange juice, right? You know, Trop has the big white jug and Minute Maid has the big orange jug with the handle on it. It's a 96 or sometimes a 128 ounce. We were the first ones to do that.
Wow.
We were the first ones to plastic jug. Fortifying orange juice with calcium. We did that. Okay.
Whoa.
Yeah. We started all that. Yeah. And then we had Sunny Delight too.
Sunny Delight is big.
It still is big.
Still is big.
It's very big. Yeah.
But if there's a big recall, would that affect your bottom line?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I mean, it may affect. Well, I mean,
Is it just a black eye on the legacy?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
you're
nothing to be
leaving.
proud of, man.
Yeah.
It's not. I mean, I took a lot of calls, and I don't even work there anymore.
Yeah.
I took a ton of calls, mostly from your listeners. Okay, and I had to. They were like, explain this to us.
Yeah.
It's not, and I was. You know, I'm not an employee of this podcast, but I felt like it was my responsibility to answer every one of these things that came on. There was pictures they were getting to send me around of an empty shelf with no GIF on it, and like that doesn't hurt us.
Did you have a response that you kind of copy and pasted like the Disney?
Not
Frozen?
like Disney and
you go,
Salyer
look
or
at
whatever.
Jeff. I go, this is just a blip.
No, that's a different, man. It came from the heart with me.
Yeah.
Like I individually answered each one of those, and I was honest about it. I'm like, hey, I don't feel good about this.
Did you talk to anybody in that world, in the GIF world, when this happened?
No, man, I couldn't. Those guys were dealing with.
Yeah.
My buddy John Brazzi's their number 2 guy. He's the COO of Smuckers.
Yeah.
Who owns GIF now.
Wow.
I just couldn't. I knew what he was dealing with.
You didn't send a text to go, I know, man. Thinking of you, brother.
Yeah. Thinking of you.
Yeah.
Hang in there. We're praying for you.
Yeah. I just felt like he's getting it from all ends at that point, man.
Yeah.
Aaron's laughing like, can you imagine what the pressure that was on him, man? It took
a toll.
It took I hope it didn't, but I mean it took Peter Pan down in 2006. Those guys were a major player and they are not now.
Yeah.
They are no longer even. They are also ran. It's a Skippy. I think if anybody, it helped Skippy. Okay? But
Maybe Skippy had something to do with it.
I was thinking about that with this when I heard about this thing with GIF. You know, I was like, man, this has got Peter Pan written all over.
Yeah,
these guys. This sounds like some of the garbage those guys would pull.
Yeah,
because
they're not. Yeah, Peter Pan. They're coming in. They all have price salmonella. Yeah, I can't say. What is it?
Salmonella.
What is salmonella? Just like even tell you what I picture. I always picture like it's like some kind of worm or something. I picture like a real
like a tapeworm or
like
one of those.
There you go.
No, I don't. Yeah,
I think it's just like
it's bacteria.
Yeah, bacteria.
And where does it come from? Like
a GIF.
It doesn't. It doesn't.
It comes from the Lexington, Kentucky GIF plant.
No, it doesn't. And Lexington is where it happened, man.
Yeah.
Where you shot your special.
I did. I shot it there for a reason, man. It was
Yeah.
Shot it there because that's where it just made. But
now I saw because you sell Pringles.
Yeah.
Mandela effect. You know what Mandela effect is?
Yeah, it's like basically everything that we all think happened, but it really didn't happen.
There's a Pringles brand, sour cream and
onion. It's the number 2 flavor. It's green.
I should have asked someone else besides the expert. Most people think it was sour cream and chives, and there's never been a sour cream and chives.
That's sour cream and onion, man.
Yeah.
Okay,
well, I think I would have said sour cream and onion.
It was always numbered. The green can. It was the number 2 in the flavor profile all the time. Well, we had a Right Crisp, which was like like lighter fat.
There's 168 Pringle flavors.
Oh man,
wow.
we talk about Tarangos?
We did talk about
Tarangos. Man, that was a disaster. That was just man, that was brutal. But do you guys know Pringles? When they introduced it, came out in '68, and which is the same year I was born, way after Ed McMahon. Dick Van Dyke. Dick Van Dyke.
Yeah.
And
Ed McMahon too.
Yeah. So it came out, and they were doing really well, gangbusters. Okay, I think it was called Pringles Newfangled Potato Chips when they first came out, and the government said, "Hey, you guys are made up of corn and soy and wheat and potatoes. You're not made of 100% potatoes. You can't call yourselves potato chips. You have to call yourselves potato crisps."
Right.
Because it was like a big court case, and we did, and people were like, "Yeah, we still like them. They're still good." And the government was like, "They're not made of 100% potatoes." And people were like, "Yeah, we kind of figured that when they were uniformly stacked on top of each other in the perfect shape of a horse saddle." They're come on, guys. They were. There was like a famous lawsuit, and I think and then it was weird in Britain because we called ourselves crisps, but in London, that's what chips are. They're called crisps. So
do you have to call them chips? And
I think so, something like that. Yeah.
Next week on the Europe episode, we'll get into that.
Okay.
And then, but now you're called Pringles. Like you say you want some potato chips. I guess if you said you want potato chips, I would say, well, I have Pringles and Lay's and all this. Or we have but Pringles are. You also go. You want some? I would never go. You want some potato chips and then offer you Pringles.
No.
What are you talking? Why not?
That's insane behavior.
I'm saying if I have Pringles and I would go, do you want a Pringle? I wouldn't go, do you want a potato chip? But if I had
I know
Ruffles,
what you're saying.
If I had Ruffles, I would say, you want some chips? And then I would hand you just whatever bag of chips.
You would never go,
I'm saying Pringles are their own thing.
I know what you're saying. They're their own thing, and they are. But I think let's have a party, okay? And let's serve Pringles. Say, does anybody want any potato chips? And you give them Pringles, and people are going to be fine with it, man.
Yeah, no. I think we're on different pages here. I'm saying that Pringles are their own thing. Yes, if I said buy some potato chips, I'd buy Pringles and Ruffles, and I'd buy all the potato chips. But if I had Pringles in my hand, and I wouldn't say, do you want a potato chip, and only offer you a Pringle. I would say, do you want a Pringle?
Yeah, I got what you're saying.
But if I had Ruffles, I would say, do you want potato chips? I wouldn't say, do you want a Ruffle?
Mm-hmm.
I got what you're saying.
Pringle, I'm saying, is its own description.
It is its own thing. And then and there's been some imitators out there. Lay's stacks. Try to take
the one problem I have with Pringles.
They did all right. Lay's stack. I mean, I know about them.
Okay. Yeah, it's true.
You know about them.
Man, those guys are they own 90% of that aisle.
Yeah.
Frito-Lay. And they basically put all these, I think we talked about this last time. They put all the regional chippers out of business, okay?
Right. Yeah.
And then they're the one person they were gunning for was like, this is the last person we're going to take down is Pringles. And they came after us with this, stacks, and it didn't work. I mean, they carved out a little market share because I'll tell you another thing about Frito-Lay, man. Those guys, they are they're bribers, man.
Yeah.
They would go into these stores with all kinds of just, hey, you want baseball tickets? You want you want any of this kind of stuff? You want you like camping? You want a tent or whatever? Yeah. And I would go in there and I'd go in there and say, hey man, I can show you a way to build your profit. I'm not going to get into all this business.
Yeah.
I'm going to do it the right way.
Yeah. But they want to go that Don Dillinger game.
Don Dinginger.
Dillinger. Yeah.
My one complaint about Pringles, though, the design. Once you get so low where you can't get you got to tip it over, and then all the crumbs come out.
What did they say about that? I think that's part of it. I think you kind of like it.
I mean,
it's part of the ritual.
It's part of the Yeah, it's like Oreos. Like when you got to get, now they have that pullback thing, and you're like, you got to climb in there. They're in the trays, or it's just part of it.
Yeah, I like an Oreo.
Pringles, did you ever think about doing it sideways and have like
no. Here's the thing, Bates. I mean, it's a valid concern. Okay,
it is.
Nothing's perfect in the world. Okay,
yeah.
So you got to ask yourself, do I want that? Do I want to live with that mild problem? And you made it sound like there's all kinds of crumbs down there. There's maybe 2 broken chips. Okay.
Yeah.
2 broken chips.
Come on now.
That's
not
what
again.
The bottom 20%.
No, it's not the bottom 20%.
Borderline a powder.
Yeah, if you're shaking it around like a rattle, man, what are you doing? I mean, you got to treat it like a food. But would you rather have that, or would you rather buy a bag of chips?
Right.
That's half air. Okay, it's half air, and you want to talk about broken with the way Aaron treats his chips. It's got
Pringles with and a plate. We're gonna see.
No, man, this is. I had to be involved in the beginning of this. This feels like a setup. You and Laura set this up 2 weeks ago. Where you're gonna like, hey, shake him up, shake him up.
I take my shirt off. I have a stack shirt on and a stack shirt underneath it. I go, let me tell you something.
Yeah, man. No, Bates. Which would you rather have, that or I mean, everything has its inherent problems.
I think it's what's the thing where they go? It's character. It's or something like it adds character to Pringles.
Yeah, man. It's part of
it. It's
kind of like Aaron. Would you rather have Folgers or Starbucks new product?
Oh, I'll tell you exactly what I would have. There's a lot going on in my life right now. Life moves fast. Starbucks has ready-to-drink coffee. They deliver an uplifting boost that helps you tune into the moments that matter wherever you are. It's Starbucks coffee, conveniently packaged for life on the go. This stuff is so delicious. It's so fun to drink. The bottled Frappuccino coffee drink is inspired by Starbucks cafe favorites. It's chilled and comes in 4 awesome flavors: mocha, vanilla, caramel, and coffee. I overthink the word caramel. I never know how to say it.
It's tough, man.
Caramel.
Caramel is how I want to say it.
Caramel.
Yeah.
I don't want caramel. I think I say caramel.
I start the day with coffee, especially when we're recording a new podcast episode. The Starbucks ready-to-drink coffee is an easy way to get the boost I need to conquer the day. Starbucks coffee, ready for right now. Shop the full lineup online or in-store wherever you buy groceries.
All right. So we got some Pringles. Let's just see what the crumb. Now, to be fair, this one's half full. Salt and vinegar.
Salt and vinegar, man, that's a great. That's a
great
bursting with flavor. It
this is Harper's a big Pringle girl.
Yeah, I remember you said that. Yeah.
But this one's kind of beat up. Like this is definitely like that's.
Look at that.
Like that's a lot.
That's not bad at all.
That's not. Yeah.
I mean,
crumbs came out first.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. But I mean, it's been sitting there.
That thing, it's a half full can.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, yeah, that's what I said. When it gets low and you can't. I mean, that's when it gets
not pulling from the bottom.
And the flavor delivery system on salt and vinegar, man, I guarantee you're not going to get a better.
Now I got an unopened can.
Oh, wow.
That's okay. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Let's see we can see what we did. I don't know how we're going to get these back in there.
We brought these out with Pizzalicious. Same time.
Salt and vinegar.
So we introduced these in, I'd say probably 96, 97. It was this and Pizzalicious. Mm-hmm. And everybody thought salt and vinegar was going to be the winner. Pizzalicious slots in at number 5 right out of the gate, man.
Wow.
Yeah. It's because of kids.
Yeah.
Because of kids. Me and my friend Gene Williams were the only ones in the brand that were like, no, man, Pizzalicious is going to do better than salt and vinegar. Gene called it.
Yeah. Gene sounds like a guy that would know that.
Yeah.
Unopened can. It's been through the normal wear and tear. Hasn't done anything.
Yeah, I'll go with
it. We haven't thrown it.
I mean, allegedly.
I'm a Lay's guy.
I don't know.
You gotta be kidding me. Does Lay's even make a salt and vinegar?
I'll be honest with you. It looks good so far. I don't I guess I can.
That's a nice stack.
I mean, I don't think there's any crumbs, dude.
It's very minimal.
Uh-oh.
By the way, I didn't say there was never going to be a crumb.
You said maybe 2 chips.
Okay, well, just for the record.
Look at that. That's a solid looking stack.
We are halfway out, and we haven't seen crumb 1, okay?
Oh, look.
And it dumped. But overall.
Greg, I'll be honest with you, that's way better than I thought it would be.
Man. Yeah, that's I mean, I'll live with that, and I'll own that. I'll be like, hey, man, nobody is saying.
Yeah. I'm looking at maybe 3 broken chips. Maybe.
That's great. And here, look at that. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead and knock that.
What do you mean?
It's a solid
the investment that we made in protecting our product that Bates's chips do not even care about.
No.
Yeah, I mean, this didn't cheat, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's not.
You're cutting into your own margins, but you do it for the customer.
Yes, man. You think
that's really nice.
Which is why, by the way, Pringles are giant internationally, because before we started making plants, we have a bunch of plants all over now. We started shipping these things. We were shipping them to China because they could make the trip.
Right.
You can't send a bag of Lay's over to China.
You get smashed up.
Yeah, you got nothing.
All right.
Right.
Now, Smuckers, I was reading how the Jif recall affected Smuckers. Smuckers doing pretty well, sounds like. Uncrustables. Are you an Uncrustable guy?
I don't, man.
That's probably after your time, right?
Well, okay. First of all, I work for Procter and Gamble,
So
and
Smucker's not really.
they sold the brand
Okay.
to Smuckers
All right.
after I left. Procter and Gamble's out of the food business. You know,
So you wouldn't even be involved anymore.
no, they would have moved me over to soap or something. Or
Are they the
Deodorant,
they're only
something.
lawyer business now?
what's that?
The lawyer business?
Oh,
Procter and Gamble. Sounds like a law firm. Procter and Gamble.
oh yeah,
Yeah,
Nate. Yeah, Nate
yeah.
didn't even know what Procter and Gamble was last time.
No.
Yeah.
P&G.
Let's just go through your
P&G.
house, Nate, and I'll show you
I'll
90
show you what it
items.
is.
90 items that you have that
Yeah.
Procter and Gamble makes. Okay,
But
but yeah, Smuckers.
Well,
owns
I
them.
only asked.
the Uncrustables are great.
Leanne Morgan
Great
has it
golf.
on her rider,
Yeah.
Uncrustables, in her dressing room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not bad. It's not a bad rider thing. I
No, it's
should
pretty
get a
good.
rider, I think, because it's just a solid. Like I almost should get it because she is smart about that.
Yeah.
With like getting it just to eat like that before you go on stage.
Yeah.
Like kind of gives you a little energy. It's not
Mhm.
too heavy. I mean, they're great.
Mm-hmm.
Put them in the freezer.
To freeze them,
Yeah.
Really?
you get them that cold.
No, you let them thaw out a little bit.
But just to preserve them. Like,
Yeah.
I like
get a
them
bunch.
warm.
Do you know what Uncrustables? What kind of
They're
peanut
not
butter they're
warm,
using?
but
Room temp.
room temp.
I
Okay.
don't. I assume Jif. Since it's Smuckers.
Does Smuckers make Uncrustables?
Mm-hmm.
I would bet. Yeah, now it is Jif or Smuckers has their own peanut butter now. It's like
Oh.
it's not my thing, but it's
But I think there are knockoffs of this, right? They don't have a patent on the ready to go
yeah.
Oh, Uncrustables.
peanut butter and jelly sandwich. So
Yeah, but
there
they're
are
like-
knockoff
they're the-
brands, but they're the catalog.
They're gonna call what are they called? Like
I
Yeah.
don't even know what you would call them.
non. We ain't got
Yeah.
no crustable. You know?
Yeah. We ain't got no.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Not
just-
Crustables.
Yeah.
Perfect
I just-
sandwich. That's
Yeah.
what I'd call it. Perfect,
Perfect
sandwich.
Yeah, that is. I mean, I get that that's a good thing, but I'm not a jelly guy.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm a jelly
more
guy.
of a peanut butter purist. Like I would say, get yourself a nice, like a loaf of Dave's Killer Bread or one of these like good grain bread.
Yeah, yeah.
Put
Mhm.
put some Jif on there, and then now you got that's what Leanne ought to be asking for.
Mhm.
Just when you're out on the
Well,
road
she's
like
got to
that.
make it. You don't have to make
Well,
this.
she's a mom. She can
Yeah,
do
this
Leanne
is
can
all
make a peanut butter
pre-made.
sandwich, Nate.
Yeah, I mean,
I
you're
know
busy.
Leanne. She's not-
I know you're busy. Leanne's
I don't know
busy.
I mean, I haven't talked to her in a couple months, but has she gotten
Yeah.
that big that she can't spread? I know
I
she's
mean,
doing
You
well.
got to think
Borderline,
every
yeah.
show, every night. You don't want
I'm
to
more
be
looking out for her
spreading
health.
the-
Okay, you can't, if you're. I mean, I'm not saying you shouldn't eat Uncrustables. I'm saying you don't want to be having jelly at every meal, man.
Yeah.
Have a nice, a good. Or,
Well, it's
you know
not
what?
her meal. It's just a snack right before the
Well,
show.
I mean, but yeah, if you get in that kind of habit, man, then
It's a
then
slippery
like,
slope.
as many shows as Leanne's doing right now, as much as she's traveling, you got to
Yeah.
be careful about
There's
your
a
health.
30,
you don't need to
40
be, you don't be having a bunch of
Uncrustables
jelly.
a week.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you wake up and that's what you're having.
And you're at risk of salmonella already.
Yeah.
So
You're not.
Salmonella.
You're not.
you add the sugar
yeah.
from
That's
That's true.
irresponsible, man.
Yeah.
You're not at risk anymore, man. They
Yeah.
have the precautions that these guys have
Do you
taken.
think there's that a diet plan to get salmonella and then you lose a bunch
Nah,
of weight?
man, it's you guys are making fun of it.
So you think
it's,
people-
it's a
How
serious.
did they figure out 14?
Gene told him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, they got jeans at Coca-Cola now, but
Was that a tough loss? For
yeah,
that was a big loss.
yeah, that was a big loss.
Yeah.
Gene was up and comer, man.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Maybe Gene has something to do with this zero Dr. Pepper cherry.
I could ask him.
Yeah, because they're doing
No,
some
Dr.
really good
Pepper
things.
isn't Coke, are
Dr.
they?
Yeah.
Pepper, no,
Pepsi.
Dr. Pepper's not Coke. Dr. Pepper's
Dr.
its
Pepper
own
is
thing.
7-Up Dr.
Oh,
Pepper.
really?
It's his own
Yeah,
thing. Yeah.
it's
Oh,
neither
Coke's
Coke
got-
nor Pepsi.
Does Coke have
Oh.
Pibb or is that
Mr. Pibb is Coke, I believe.
Mr.
Yeah.
Pibb's Coke? Yeah, Gene.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Ah,
Yeah.
man, you and Gene's big Georgia fan, man. Big.
Oh yeah,
big
I was at the
Georgia
National
Bulldogs.
Championship game.
Yeah, I'm sure he was too, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow, I did not know that. I thought Dr. Pepper they're their own thing.
I didn't know that either.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Mr. Pibb or Pibb Extra is a
Dallas, Texas, maybe.
Yeah,
Dr. Pepper.
it's a Texas drink for sure.
Yeah.
that's crazy. It's its
Yeah.
own.
They paired
yeah.
up with 7-Up, I
Wow.
think. Yeah, they paired up with 7-Up.
They paired up a long time ago with 7-Up.
I think
Are they-
80s, maybe.
I mean, because Dr. Pepper is holding its own
Mm-hmm.
as far as compete. It's one thing.
It's a good drink, man.
It's a good drink.
and it's, you know what? Remember when you would get those 20-ounce plastic bottles that we all
Yeah.
get if you're on the road, man? You grab a 20-ounce
Mhm.
soda. It's those that
Yeah.
it's called
Story
pet
told
plastic.
as old as time.
Yeah.
Mhm.
They used to be glass. Okay. in the 80s, and the first one to come up with the plastic was Dr. Pepper and 7-Up. They had Coke and everybody was glass, and then those guys were the first one to have plastic. They must have been like a patent or something, because for about 2 years I was like, well, I don't care what, I'm getting the plastic. Even if I feel like a Coke, I'm getting the plastic because it's got a better feel to it.
Interesting.
I remember a commercial where someone would actually knock the glass bottle off the table and it would shatter and go everywhere. And then someone knocked plastic and it just bounces because it's plastic. That's how they like sold you on it. Like,
really?
Look how much better this is. Yeah. I was really hoping you would remember this commercial, Greg. So.
I don't remember it, man. I mean, I don't remember.
I mean, it was that.
It's genius.
That was
it's good marketing.
He was in the thick of it back then.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a lot going on.
Yeah.
I had a lot going on. Yeah,
like,
that was.
You weren't even thinking about soda.
Mm-hmm.
No, we had that was probably right around the time when we had the Fisher Nut acquisition.
What was that?
Fisher Nuts?
No. I mean, maybe.
It's like a kind of a competitor of Planters.
So here's an interesting move in the beverage industry I had no idea of. Do you know Keurig owns Dr. Pepper, Snapple, 7-Up, and more?
Wow.
Keurig owns these brands now. I
I
tell you what, you blink, you'll miss a lot.
Oh man, that's
world.
the one
These
category.
companies get moved all around. Beverage is crazy.
No, I'm just saying because we sold Folgers.
Yeah,
and that is the one category where I feel like I couldn't go back and be relevant.
Coffee, it's a different
because there
world
was no
now,
Keurig when I sold it, man. You're talking. I feel like I'd be I wouldn't know the price points. I wouldn't, I'd seem like a dinosaur. You're like, what's your price on Keurig? You're like, I can get you a percolator. I'd sell you a percolator and auto drip if you old man.
Go,
you don't know what you're doing.
Gosh.
Yeah, this guy.
When's the coffee gonna be ready? You're like a couple days.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know anything about that business anymore. It's embarrassing. I could go. I could walk back in and be selling peanut butter in a week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What would you need? Just a little. Just wrap your head around what's happening.
I mean, I know what's happening. I go and I keep an eye on the shelves. But I would just need to know the price points. I need to know, hey, what are we advertising right now? Yeah, like back in the day, man, the lowest price point you're going to hit. I mean, 18 ounce, that's the main size. That's where all the promotions happen is 18 ounce. And, you want to fight for it. It was a fight to get the back to school ad. And if a very aggressive ad back then would have been 2 for $3.
Wow.
You go 2 for $3 on an 18 ounce. And that's like, if you guys see that, and I don't know if they're doing that anymore, stock up. So it's not coming back till next August.
Yeah. A 2 for $3.
A 2 for $3.
Yeah. That's like, and does the other companies are like, are they annoyed?
Well, I mean, I don't want to point fingers, but like Skippy and Peter Pan would come in real low for that back to school ad. They would come in and they'd give them some kind of crazy deal. And these guys would buy pallets and pallets full of it. Cause it's like, the grocery store's like, hey, let's load up at this low price. Okay. And they couldn't sell it all in that back to school ad. Well, guess what you're eating for the next 6 months?
Right.
You're eating peanut butter that's been sitting in the back room because they bought too much.
Yeah.
And it's, you're not eating a fresh product.
Yeah.
Where,
a Jif,
yeah, we didn't do quite as we played some games. I'm not going to say I was innocent, but we played some games, but not like they did. Yeah. I mean, the true in the cake mix business, the true Betty Crocker and Duncan Hines, I had Duncan Hines, but Betty Crocker and Pillsbury especially the ones that played that kind of game. I mean, it's like they're selling them 3 years worth of cake mix for the Christmas ad, and it was embarrassing. Yeah. You want to eat it. You want to eat a 3-year-old cake mix? You ever try to bake with? I mean, it's not out of date. It's not going to be out of date. There's no cake mix doesn't go out of date, but it's not going to be a fresh.
Do you know all the stuff that expires and doesn't expire? What do you feel about expirations? Are you like, there's some places being loose where you're going, come on. Or is it summer?
I mean, most of my stuff was other than that Citrus Hill. That was where. That was very strict dating, and they're pouring it out.
Yeah, it was like, we're not.
Right.
Yeah, but as a consumer,
so why did Citrus? All right, both questions. But Citrus Hill, so Citrus Hill just never took off. as an orange juice, but it made a lot of stuff.
Nate, if I knew that.
Yeah.
I mean, if I knew the answer to that.
I would probably the name.
You think he'd be sitting here today if we knew the answer to that question?
If I knew, no, if I knew the answer to that, man, I'd be running that company.
I bet it's the name.
I don't think it's the name.
I don't know. Every other thing is like got a name. Like Citrus Hill doesn't.
You think Citrus Hill doesn't sound as good as Minute Maid?
It's not really not an orange game. It seems too fancy. Citrus Hill seems too expensive and too fancy. So it would seem like it doesn't for the blue collar person's going to be like if you're like I drink Citrus Hill, I think it feels like kind of high end. And where if you're like I got Minute Maid, that's more of like kids, mom. I'm getting Minute Maid, Sunny D. It's easy to say what you have.
Yeah,
that's what I think.
I love that you think Sunny D belongs in that category.
With the average person,
we sold a lot of Sunny D because people like you thought it was orange juice. It's the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, because it's like, but you're not really thinking about it. Like you're just like,
no.
Yeah, you're pouring a drink, you're drinking a drink, and you're going about your day.
Yeah.
But this is what my theory with all of Hollywood or even anything, any of this stuff is they don't. You go like, yeah, dude, I have a life. I can't just sit and think about what this thing is that I'm drinking. Right. That's why it's easy to Citrus Hill it's kind of, if you have to go, what is that? And then you'd be like, I don't know. And I'm already out.
I mean, but
even if it's the better one.
It was the better one.
Even if it's the better one. It's like, if you tell me what Minute Maid is, it's like, I'm not even, there's not a thought of even, I know what it is.
Yeah, but that's because you grew up with it, man.
Well, that's what you're competing against. I'm telling you why you failed.
I don't know why we failed, man. I think we just didn't know how to be a food business. We're more of a soap company.
So Citrus Hill does soap.
P&G? Procter & Gamble. I mean, Tide is.
Yeah,
that's Tide would be its own company.
Yeah,
Tide would be a Fortune 200 company by itself.
Yeah,
and you throw Downy in there.
Yeah,
those are the.
It's a wrap.
Yeah, and we got kind of treated like the
game over
stepchildren. Like, I was a food beverage rep, then you had the paper rep.
Yeah.
Bounty, Charmin, Pampers, right there.
Giants.
Okay,
Yeah.
And then you had the health and beauty like Crest, Scope, that kind of stuff. And soap was Tide, and then like Cascade and that kind of thing. So food and beverage, we got treated like stepchildren. And we got abused in some ways because they could take it out on us. Like the Tide guy would walk in and be like, "Hey, you're going to take this because you need Tide, and there's no substitute." Okay, and then I'd walk in there and be like, the guy would be mad at the Tide guy and he'd take it out on me. I was like, "Hey, man, I can get Maxwell House instead of Folgers. You're not that big of a player,
right?"
Yeah. So the expirations, like, is it? Do you think people will get loose with that? Like the expiration date?
I hope not. Yeah. Man, I hope not.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
I hope not.
I hope not. That's a serious thing. I don't think so.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to say anything. I think,
you still got friends on the inside.
Yeah. I just, it'd be a cheap shot to be that I think that some of these guys are doing it, but no, I don't think so, man.
Yeah.
I think now the retailer might. I mean, that was like an old Simpsons episode, I think, where like, Apu was talking about like you're like, okay, this is the time of the day when we go change the expiration date. I think I can't remember what the episode was.
Yeah,
I would imagine some of the retailers.
Yeah.
Now, do you think as a consumer, are you more worried about expiration dates than me? Do you think? Like, do you heed them strictly?
I do, maybe just because it's back to I'm a maniac, like not being able to finish a sleep study. That OCD type thing is not because of my experience in the business. Because again, most of our stuff, they all have like the packaged stuff. It won't have an expiration date. If you notice, you get your peanut butter, it'll say Best Buy.
Yeah,
it's a Best Buy date. So this product is Best Buy. March 10th, 2025.
Right.
Okay. But that doesn't mean you can't eat it out. It's not going to kill you.
Best before that.
It's going to taste.
But still pretty good.
It's not going to hurt you.
Right.
But we've all had, like, I get it. And I get it with peanuts, man. I love peanut, like dry roasted peanuts, man. And every now and I'll be, come on, man. There's something up here. This is not.
Yeah. I never liked the Best Buy thing. Cause you're like, well, what's the actual thing? Then?
Yeah.
Because it's, I just take it. Well, that's my expiration. Then I guess
I kind of do too.
So do I.
Yeah. I mean, maybe on like what spices. That's the one thing I wonder. Are like spices, because they all have Best Buy dates on spices, and I'm like, do I really need to? I only use this spice every now and then. I got to go buy a whole nother thing of this spices,
paprika or whatever.
I'll play it fast and loose with spices.
Laura's weird with expressions, but I mean, I have a joke about that.
Really?
But I did. Yeah, but she'll not weird with it. She'll let stuff fly. I mean, I'm yeah. She's,
not like meat though, right?
No, not meat.
Eggs.
No, not that stuff. Okay. But I mean, anything that's like
dog medicine.
I mean, it just doesn't.
These Pringles are expired.
They're not expired, dude. Did you try one? Man?
Yeah, I did.
I mean, did you honestly?
I did. I savored it, man.
It's the perfect. It's the perfect amount of salt and vinegar on it, man. Yeah. It is perfect.
They're doing good things.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I had a few Missouri questions I wanted to ask you.
Yeah, sure, man.
One of them I posed to these guys when you weren't here. So the St. Louis Arch.
Yeah.
630 feet tall.
Yeah.
Do you know how wide it is?
No. It was built in 64, was it?
Now explain what you mean by width.
Oh, yeah.
Between the south leg,
last time.
between the two legs?
Yeah.
Yes.
Man, I don't. I did know the 630, but I don't know the width. What is
You want to make a guess? I'll just tell you.
Yeah.
250?
It's 630. It's the same.
Oh, man.
It's a perfect square.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Wow. You guys ever been up in it?
Square?
Yeah, it's not square, but
Have you
It's
guys
not
not
square, but it's as wide as it is tall.
I have been up
gone
in
up in it?
I
So
have
you say
been-
that? Yeah, I have.
Yeah.
Is that what you
Aaron?
still say?
If you were to diagram the space that this occupies in the sky, right? Leg to leg, go straight up from each leg and then across. That's a square.
But I mean, that's not the shape of a square.
No, it's not at all.
He's got you there, man.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, let's say you put that on graph paper.
I don't even have to look at the internet to tell you Nate's right on.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying, though. The space that it occupies is a square.
I don't.
And we just said it's as tall as it is wide.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that's what a square is?
That's a square. So
then what's the point of even having a square? If anything can be a square, then what's the point of something being a square? Why would you even have a square? Let's get rid of squares because I guess everything's a square.
All right. That's fair.
I kind of see where you're going. But
Yeah, I'm saying if you put that on a graph paper,
yeah.
right? I mean, you'd have to.
Which would be extremely difficult.
Yeah, not to scale.
I mean,
All right, I give up.
That's a lot of paper.
Yeah.
Is that what they would
It'd be,
say?
it'd be wasteful is what it is.
No, I'm saying, look, obviously it's an arch. It's a different shape. But the fact that it's the same width as is height.
It's like a square.
You think about the space that it occupies. You wouldn't put something to the left of the top. But you know what I mean? You wouldn't put anything there.
Whom would say that?
On top of the...
Well, I mean, if you look at the picture, if you bring in if you would bring it, if you crop it,
right?
Yeah. Now
you wouldn't put anything here, is what I'm saying.
I'm saying if you cropped it by the legs, you took that in, then you would have a square. I think is what he's saying.
Yeah. You could make a square out of this.
Yeah. But it doesn't look like it from here.
No.
Yeah, there's actually no bottom either.
Well, I'm saying, think about
just the bottom's the ground. So I don't know.
It is. Yeah, there's no bottom.
The ground. There is no bottom.
Yeah, that would be cool though, man.
I guess if we can just put stuff together, anything can be a square. You're like, yeah, we're just grabbing piece. This Pringles could be a square if you give me a couple minutes.
See that courthouse right there, the old courthouse in
Yeah.
the middle there? That's where the Dred Scott case was decided right there in that courthouse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did right in between the arch?
Right in between the right. Well, I don't think at the time. No, arch was built in '64, I think.
The guy who invented
Dred
that.
Scott was what?
Well, you know, Nate.
Yeah. Couldn't a triangle? I mean, that looks more like a triangle to me than a square.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, look, you
It would
wouldn't.
be. I mean,
You see where the mouse is right here? You wouldn't build anything right there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You wouldn't build anything right here. So for all intents and purposes,
wouldn't. It's an arch.
this is a square this space occupies right here.
Squarespace. Yep.
Square.
This is like where college, like they just.
No, I see it now.
I don't even know how this could help someone that went to college versus not college. I don't see the difference of what we're talking about.
All right. Let me give you Here's a good segue to it. So the guy who invented the elevator for that,
Right.
college dropout. All these architects couldn't figure it out, but this guy.
If you've been in that elevator,
You know that?
you would say this guy is a college dropout.
But I mean, this is Nate to a T. He could figure out stuff the other ones couldn't. He made it half elevator, half Ferris wheel.
Yeah, it does.
He
It
came up
kind of
with the
goes.
design.
Yeah, it kind of goes. Yeah.
It's got to. It's
My
got
mother hated that thing.
Yeah.
God, if you're any kind of claustrophobic,
Oh yeah.
don't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am now. It'd be tough now.
Yeah.
Have you been up there, Nate?
I have when I was a long time ago.
Yeah. You taking your daughter up?
No.
You gotta.
I know. I would maybe have trouble though because of the claustrophobia.
That museum underneath is really cool, man.
Yeah.
That's a museum of Western expansion. It's really, really
Yeah.
cool.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's neat.
It's.
There was a guy.
I don't even know how to respond. It's really cool, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I bet
As a father, you should take. You should.
Yeah.
You should.
Nah, she's learned enough.
Yeah.
We're not teaching her. We're not teaching her past the Mississippi.
That does sound like a Southern attitude,
Yeah,
man.
yeah. You go, she don't even learn all. There's a bunch of nonsense on the other side.
You
Once
don't
that
need-
arch got
you
going,
don't-
I was like,
you
well,
don't-
good night.
You do not need to pass the Mississippi.
Yeah, I say good
Yeah.
night, America, because it's over.
So there was a guy who used suction cups, climbed all the way to the top, and parachuted down.
Really?
Yeah, in '92. I thought you would know all this, Greg.
No, I didn't know. Man, God, that reminds me of like one of my favorite Norm bits on Saturday Night Live news when he's doing the update or whatever.
Mhm.
He goes, some guy. He goes, Snake Man, guy that calls himself Snake Man, attached suction cups and climb to the top of a New York skyscraper, just like a snake.
That was a funny name for
That was
it.
one of my
The snake man.
Yeah.
He's like, just like a snake.
All right, you were in Kansas City this past weekend.
Yeah.
Kansas City has more fountains than any city in the world except Rome.
Water
Really?
fountains?
Yeah. Drinking
Is this
fountains.
like a wheels or doors thing? What do we call a fountain? Like a decorative fountain.
Decorative, yeah.
I just thought, yeah.
So
Yeah.
that does not include water fountains.
Yeah.
No,
You
man.
mean
It's
like
not, they're
drinking-
not drinking fountains, man. That's not what he's talking about.
Oh,
Okay.
he's talking about like
Fountains that have water in them.
designs.
Celebrity,
Oh, okay.
or there's celebratory.
Statue
Yeah.
in the middle.
Celebrity,
I guess
famous celebrity fountains.
Yeah.
Okay.
Famous fountains.
Yeah, I think most
That's
of
a
those
bit-
are on the plaza.
yeah.
I think most of those are.
It's funny to say the way it's said too. It's like it's got the most in the world except Rome.
Yeah.
And you're like,
Yeah.
well, that's
Yeah,
not.
yeah.
You go.
I should just say the second most.
Yeah, it's the second most you go. It's got the most in the world. Wow. Besides Rome. Well, obviously.
Yeah.
You know what I would say? I bet you it has the most barbecue per capita as any city.
Well, I was going to mention that next, that they're the home of barbecue. I don't know if they have the most, but
I don't know if I didn't know they were the home. I
Per
can just tell you
capita.
they have it's
home
every
of-
corner.
well, Kansas City barbecue is, I guess, famous barbecue, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Burnt
mean,
ends,
so is
right?
Carolina.
Yeah, burnt
and,
ends is great.
Yeah,
burnt
Texas.
ends are
Yeah, yeah.
awesome.
St. Louis is famous for ribs, which Nate doesn't like. But
Yeah.
man, I just was there. I had barbecue 3 times.
Well, St. Louis has also those mozzarella things.
No, you're thinking of toasted ravioli.
Toasted ravioli. That's
yeah,
what I mean.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's
it's got mozzarella inside of it.
Emos.
No, I don't think.
Does it?
You're thinking fried mozzarella is a different thing. But yeah.
Cheese sticks, Applebee's. All right, yeah.
Think of
Yeah,
Applebee's.
yeah,
I'm back.
Applebee's.
I'm back.
Yeah.
You get the little
It always goes back
yeah.
to Applebee's.
Get a little front cheese sticks with some of those boneless ribs.
Oh yeah, man.
Some of the Applebee's fries. Applebee's got
Yeah.
some good fries.
Toasted ravioli is a thing, and
Yeah.
the St. Louis style pizza.
Yeah.
But,
I think you'll be
yeah.
interested in this, Greg. The Missouri hyperloop. Have you heard about this?
no.
Mm.
It's do you know what a
It's the
hyperloop
arch.
is?
It's the
I do
arch,
not.
but it goes underground.
Yeah, like
It's
a
kinda-
square.
Makes it a full square.
It's kind of like a train. It is a train, but it's like I'm forgetting the word, like
fast train.
a shuttle, like a.
Oh, is this the thing we're going to do from St. Louis to Kansas City?
Yeah.
That's not going though, is it?
Well, it's still there's still talk about it. There's a
It would
committee.
it would be awesome, man.
It'll be the
That's what I said.
fastest train in the world, except
Man.
for obviously the train that's faster.
yeah.
Except for the one in
what's,
the road.
what's the trip
Except
now
for the-
from St. Louis to Kansas City? How long does it
I
take?
just did it yesterday.
Well, how long is it?
3.5.
All right. This would be under 30 minutes.
Wow.
Man, it would change. Man, I'd be doing spots in Kansas City just because I could.
Yeah.
I just go
Yeah, I don't know how many people really need to bounce between St. Louis and Kansas City, but it's good to know that it's going to be that quick. But I mean, I can't imagine that they're like, a guy's like, if I could just bounce back and forth between Kansas City.
Man, there's a lot of business. I mean, the T-Mobile's over there, and
I know, but I just can't imagine.
Does it stop in Columbia? That's where the Missouri.
I don't think you can stop if you're in 30 minutes.
Yeah, you
I
can't
think
do
it's
stuff.
It says connects the city of St. Louis, Columbia, and Kansas City.
There you go, man. Stop right where I went to college.
How you gonna do it in 30 minutes? Are they building? They're still thinking about building.
Dude, I just traveled on that. There's
I-70.
It doesn't. Yeah, I-70. There's nothing that would let you know that thing's coming.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I would love it, man.
It says Missouri Governor Mike Parson. Is he still the governor?
Yeah, Parsons is.
I feel like that's going to do
a panel committee to examine the funding and construction of it.
I'd like to see him put one between here and Nashville, or St. Louis and Nashville.
Great.
So what? But you have to pay taxes for it.
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
That's they don't. That stuff drives me. I don't know.
But that'd
much
be some fun with your taxes, man.
Yeah,
now it's just like
Kansas City, Missouri.
Yeah, but you're like just throwing stuff out, like every your taxes. Yeah,
it is probably something that some guy tried to get elected on.
And
like, hey, what we're gonna do?
Oh yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. You think it's good for your body if you did that every day, traveling that fast, just your insides?
Do you think it's good?
People fly every day; they go way faster.
Yeah,
that's true. I don't know. This would be how fast would this be? 500 miles an hour? Or something?
I think so. It's like It's magnets, and there's no friction, so it just
that's so scary.
It zips along.
I almost don't trust it.
It feels like that RoboCop, man, when they'd send him into the future. They'd stick him in that thing and they'd just fly off, man.
Elon Musk is trying to do one from Southern California to Northern California and get from like LA to San Francisco in 30 minutes.
He already has those tunnels, right? Doesn't he have those?
He's trying
boring tunnels. Yeah.
It's a good name.
Boring.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the worst natural disasters in history in Missouri. I always like that. Some crazy tornadoes. Joplin tornado.
Yeah, that was bad, man.
That was bad.
I had friends that were affected by that.
The New Madrid earthquake.
Yeah, the New Madrid fault. Of course, in Missouri, we don't say New Madrid, which is how it should be.
Oh yeah,
it's New Madrid. Yeah, that fault is real close to St. Louis. And
they just had an earthquake, or
this was like 1811.
1811. Yeah, they think
it's how Rollfoot Lake was created.
We may be vulnerable.
Yeah, but everybody's vulnerable.
Man, this was over the course of 3 months. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Terrible earthquake in December, and then January and February, they keep getting aftershocks.
Wow. But every day?
No. There's 2 additional aftershocks.
But 2, and they were that big.
Yeah, they were that big that they just kind of lumped them all together.
An earthquake is about the scariest thing I've experienced.
I've never felt it.
I mean, all of like tornadoes and all this is scary. It's the least control you have because everything is shaking.
Yeah,
it's and you're like, it's the earth. It's not, you know what I mean? Like you think, well, I'll run outside, I'll run inside. Everything is shaking. You have to go up.
You have to go up.
And then, so I climbed a tree and didn't feel anything. And
were you in an earthquake?
Yeah.
What?
I've been in a few.
We lived in LA.
I lived in.
I was in
New York when we had it in New York. New York had an earthquake.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, I remember my things shaking in LA when I lived out there, but I don't ever remember like this. I just feel like, oh, this is a little weird, but like
you didn't think it's an earthquake?
No, it's what do they call it? It's like a
aftershock,
tremor,
or
something. It's something else.
And you just. You've just seen it all in St. Louis that you're not even phased by the earth moving.
I had been around enough people in LA where like this is a thing that happens every couple of months where your China
This is
shakes.
the problem. This is why I don't go across the Mississippi River. The arrogance of once you pass it, everybody's like, I ain't gonna wake up for the earth shaking.
I do remember like stuff shaking in my condo in LA and being like, this is a little.
I mean, that map looks like we could be okay. Memphis, not so much, but
here
in Nashville. Of course, I live on the west side of town. So
that's how the New Madrid earthquake would.
Yeah.
Man, that just.
Well, I guess that's how it affected.
But
that was 1895.
It's it's the first time I felt one. I went to LA, and it was I mean, the light thing was really moving. It was like it was a big one, and then you would feel some little ones. I know those little ones that you're talking about. And then you would, in New York, when we felt it, Laura worked in a high rise, for something. But I felt it, and I was in New York because it was in LA, you were just immediately like, that's an earthquake because that's what they do.
Yeah.
But in New York, it was like, well, I don't know what's happening.
Yeah.
And I was playing video games at home, and I remember sitting on the couch, and I saw a dump truck, and I thought, hey, is that dump truck just that loud? And then I would talk about it. I'd go out. This is how much people don't want to talk to their neighbors in New York. We all walk out. All of us are on the porches looking at each other. Not one person goes, hey, did you feel that? I mean, they don't have earthquakes. None of us are like, hey, did you feel that? We all just stared at each other and then we all just went back inside.
Yeah.
That is, I remember my parents visiting me up there.
Now we'd all be in the cul-de-sac talking.
Yeah.
In New York, you're like,
because you know your neighbors.
You
but
know,
I do know I remember my parents visiting me like, well, what's your neighbor like? I'm like, I don't know what my neighbor's like. What are you talking about?
I don't know that guy.
Yeah. I saw him once.
We can wrap up. There's some cool things invented.
But that's they do worry, they're, everything's we're all on fault lines. We're all on everything. Everything's on, you're like, all right, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to have my own car and not have to be mercy to this hyperloop. You know what I mean? Isn't there something to be said about that? I don't want to rely on this kind of transportation.
You're telling me that wouldn't be fun, man?
I mean, it'd be fun to have.
Dude, if you had some of the KC barbecue, you'd be just going over there.
You're right.
I seriously, what do you want to go for lunch? Go to Kansas City.
I think they're going to be sending an empty tube back and forth because they're going to realize
It's like at the bank.
Yeah.
Send it back.
Now this is arrogance. This is like you're just trying to say that it's two hillbilly towns is what you're saying.
No, I'm on board with hillbilly town. I'm saying, but I can't imagine you need the back and forth between St. Louis and Kansas City. I can't imagine much business is being like, we got to get to Kansas City tomorrow.
There's a brewery.
Right now.
You got the brewery in St. Louis.
Again,
and then you got T-Mobile over there in Kansas City. Hallmark is in Kansas City.
Why do they need to go to St. Louis?
Huh?
Why do they need to go to St. Louis?
To the brewery?
Go
up to the brewery. Go up in the arch?
This is uptown in New York where it's uptown, midtown. Man. I think St. Louis and Kansas City don't even really like each other.
They don't.
Okay.
A lot over that Dinkinger thing.
Show Me series, right?
Yeah.
So then what are we even doing?
This is going to help end that.
I did it.
You're trying to help end it.
Yeah, you can bring people together.
Yeah,
that's what it's
your
about.
neighbors now. You're not going to hate each other.
I feel like you come out of that tube and your hair's just back.
Morty!
Yeah. You're just you're just like a mess. You come out and you're like, oh. What was that?
Yeah, something's a little off about you.
Yeah, there's something you go you can't sit down that day. You go, no, I don't know, dude. I tell you, your mouth tastes like.
I honestly just thought of the barbecue thing. I would be like, what do you want to go for lunch? Let's go to Kansas City and get some barbecue.
Mm-hmm.
We'll be back in an hour.
If you could go anywhere in the United States in under 30 minutes, how often would you leave the city where you live?
Oh, I would go.
Every day would you go somewhere?
Well, if I was younger, your age is going to be,
But even now I'd go to, you're saying any city?
You can go anywhere. You wouldn't go to Seattle for lunch once a day?
Maybe, but there's places 30 minutes away now. I don't
Can
go
you
every day.
imagine
That's what I'm saying.
Well, you guys, everybody in this room is a road comic. Do you think how cool that would be?
Yeah,
it'd be sweet.
It'd be sweet. I'm going to go to this New York and do a couple spots tonight, and then I'm going to come back to St. Louis.
Yeah. For that, absolutely. That's going to be amazing for that scene. Those scenes would explode because you get two cities.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. I agree with the scene.
But it would be those. I know the New York comics would be like, I mean, these guys aren't even from. They're not. They don't live here. They don't belong here. They're just coming in on the Hyperloop every day.
Just come out of the Hyperloop. Y'all gotta go do a set. You're you're just all you come out of it and you got to be in front of people and just hey, I just got that Hyperloop. That's how I picture always coming out. Just a mess.
Then there would be all
absolute mess. It'd be they give you the Pringle chips. That's the lunch they have, and you're just like, I got. I don't know. Some guy gave it to me.
There would be a whole.
As he handed it to you, he's like, they're shaking, and you're like, thanks, man.
There'd be a whole genre of hack jokes about the Hyperloop that you know when you get on the Hyperloop and
Golly,
yeah.
Man, that would be awesome though.
Yeah, it'd be sweet.
Yeah. All right. That's it. This is it. Oh, backwards.
Looks like you just got off the hyperloop.
Yeah, you just got off it, and I do a podcast because, God, dude, what day is it? All right, that's it. I'll be in Europe. London, I think sold out. Amsterdam's close to sold out.
Awesome.
Dublin probably close to sold out. Oslo, we could, if you know someone in Oslo, give them a shout. We're doing pretty good. I think it'll be like 300, 400 people or something like
That's
that.
great.
Wow. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
And then Belgium too. But they're both. It's all going to be great. The people will be there.
Wow.
And
That's
so
amazing.
I look forward to meeting you guys out there. It's going to be very cool, and I'm honored to get to come to your land. Yeah. So I'll be there.
I'm home this week, but I do want to mention a lot of people in Bristol did not know this. April 14th, I'm going to be in Johnson City, and I'm bringing Nate and Aaron with me, and Dusty. So
Yeah.
April 14th, Johnson City. A lot of people don't know that we're all doing that show as well.
Yeah.
It's the same weekend as the Bridgestone.
The night before.
The night before.
Wow.
Johnson City.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This weekend, I'm in Lowell, Arkansas, the Europe of the United States.
Wow.
That place is great.
Lowell is
The Grove.
awesome. The Grove Comedy Club. I'm going to be there Friday and Saturday. It's really exciting. And then next week, I'm here in Nashville at Zany's, headlining Wednesday night. And then I'm in St. Louis, your stomping grounds, next weekend too, at the Helium there. So come on out.
Next weekend you're in St. Louis?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Are you there
I
next
think,
weekend?
I think I'm going to the this coming. Or?
Yeah. We can probably do this after.
Oh yeah. Sorry guys. Screwed up the whole podcast.
Yeah. Where are you at?
I'm going to be in. I'm doing like private stuff. I'm going to be at Dr. Grins in Grand Rapids in a couple weeks.
That's a great
awesome.
club.
Yeah.
Go to that.
Well, go check Greg's website out and you can see all his dates. And special come out in April.
Yeah,
So we're pumped, dude. It's going to be awesome. It looks great.
Yeah, thanks, man.
It looks great.
Thanks.
All right. Well, we love you as always, and we will talk to you next week. All right. See you. Bye. Nateland is produced by Nateland Productions and by me, Nate Bargatze, and my wife Laura on the Audio Boom platform. Recording and editing for the show is done by Genovations Media. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to catch us next week on the Nateland Podcast.